Good morning and welcome everyone to this meeting of the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors for November 16th, 2021. I'm going to call on Supervisor Haft to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, good morning and thank you all for being here. So we're going to start out with the public comment portion under oral communications. Ms. Ryan, would you please read our public comment procedures and as they have changed in the past couple of weeks?
Absolutely. In order to protect the health and safety of our Tuolumne County citizens, this Board of Supervisors meeting is open to the public with modifications. Face coverings are required for all attendees regardless of vaccination status. During the board meeting, citizens who wish to provide public comment will be invited to do so by the board chair. Citizens who are physically present will be called first. Citizens who are not present and wish to provide remote public comment via Zoom may use the raise hand feature on their computer or press *9 if participating by phone to enter the queue. The moderator will read the last 4 digits for phone-only participants in lieu of a name. Zoom webinar via your computer at https://zoom.us/j/98737385155 and or phone only 1-669-900-9128 with webinar ID 98737385155. Please note, Zoom webinar services tends to have a reduced broadcasting delay in comparison to the Access Tuolumne live stream and is suggested for the closest to real-time viewing and listening. You may also submit written comments by U.S. mail at the above address, which is to South Green Street, Sonora, California 95370, or email for retention as part of the administrative record. They will not be read during the meeting. To submit written comments by email, email them to boardclerk@co.tuolumne.ca.us. Options for public access audio and video live streaming. The public will not have access for public comments via these media options. They are available for audio and visual only. Access Tuolumne County at www.accesstuolumne.org and click Watch Live, or on Comcast Cable 8. Please note, Granicus live streaming through the county website is currently unavailable. Important public notice pursuant to AB 361, members of the Board of Supervisors can participate by teleconference. Accessibility requirements: if you need SWIFT special assistance during the board meeting, please call 209-533-5521.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ryan. So at this time, we'll go ahead and open oral communications. Our board values public participation and encourages community members to take this time to provide comment on matters of county interest. This section is for comment not related to items on the agenda. The public comment time limit of 3 minutes per speaker applies, and no action may be taken by the board on topics discussed. Your board members are listening carefully to these comments and appreciate you taking the time to make a personal investment in our community. So at this time, I'll invite anyone from the room that would like to speak. Please come to the podium, and you have 3 minutes. Yes. Morning.
Good morning. I'm here to address the issues regarding these HHE workers. Basically here to serve notice that you guys are all in very close violation of the Nuremberg Code. These are experimental drugs. They just informed us this last week that they added a drug in there for sustainability called methamphetamine. If you look up this poison, it directly says to not give it to mammals. I'm letting you know right now, and that question is $50,000 a year and these backdoor deals. Are they enough to sell out we the people? And the answer is no, because it's coming down to this point in history where the spirit of 1776 is here, and they're coming after our children. They're coming after our neighbors, and we will stand, and everybody that is an accessory to this crime, that the San Francisco bureaucrats, I understand the Hetch workers, they work underneath San Francisco bureaucrats or whatever, but they're in your district. They're your people. We don't have the problems of Frisco over here. We don't have pestilence on these streets. We don't have people smoking crack and shooting up on every corner. We're clean here. Let's keep it that way. These mandates violate the Geneva Convention. They violate the Nuremberg Code, which the penalty is death. I don't want to see us go down this road. Tuolumne County is a beautiful place to live. Let's just all come together and think about this for a second, because we are entering a place in history right now that we have not seen for generations. So I just want to end by saying a little chant. When there's nothing left but the fire in my chest and the air that fills my lungs, I'll hold my tears and trade my years for a glimpse at kingdom come. On the other side of misery, there's a world we long to see. The strife we share will take us there to relief and sovereignty. Oh, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home. In our
I'm sorry, I have to
hometowns,
stop you
we
there.
are foreigners now.
Sir,
Our
sir,
names
sir,
are spat
Sir,
and cursed.
excuse me.
The
Sir,
headline smack
Sir, your
of
time is up.
another attack. Not
Thank
the
you for the
last
song, sir.
and
You
not
have to walk
the
away.
worst.
You've had your 3 minutes.
My fathers, they
right.
look down
Let's take a
on
break.
me. I wonder what they
Sir, your time is done. You can step away from the podium
their
now.
noble sons
right.
driven down beneath a coward's heel.
Great. Have a good day. All right. Is there anyone else that would like to comment?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ron Boyd Snee, and I'm here asking that the board at a later date consider an item that I've been trying to resolve since August 1st, 2019. May be able to tell by the thickness of my file how much work I've put into resolving this issue. It has to do with maintenance of a portion of Golf Links Road, Jamestown. And I can identify part of that road for you. It would be the tip, would be the westerly-most tip, I would say, of the Washington Fire. There's a side road right there, right off of 108. Back in August of 1st, actually 2019, contacted the County Road Department about an issue, and was informed that that is no longer a portion of the county maintained system. I've been through all the offices here through the county, Public Works, Surveyor's Office, so on and so forth. I see Mr. Brandon isn't here today, but also conversed with him. The last thing, it finally got to this point, and I hired a consultant, Hanson and Bridget, out of San Francisco, to see if there's any stone that I left unturned in terms of public documentation and legal matters regarding maintenance of road systems. And the legal firm sent a request to your office, County Counsel's office, and I'll read in part what the request was. Quote, all records relating to any public hearing regarding the abandonment or vacation of Golf Links Road parentheses, formerly Golf Club Road, or any portion thereof. The response by County Counsel's Office: the county has not vacated or abandoned Golf Links Road, formerly Golf Club Road, or any portion thereof. Therefore, no responsive records exist. After 2 years and considerable expense and time, finally got down to the meat of the matter, that there has been no abandonment, vacation of that portion of the road. I would ask that this board, at a later time, put it on your calendar, get the facts out, allow both sides, and come to a decision. Should that road be reinstated for the purposes of county road maintenance? I understand the issue of lack of funds. This is not a lack of fund issue. We want more work done on our road. This is a fact that the county has refused to take care of a road that's still legally within the system. So I'd ask again to put that on your calendar. We can put all this out in the public and make a decision, and I can put
Thank
my
you.
file away.
So I see our Public Works Director who oversees roads is standing up, so she probably might want to speak to you a bit about that to get some more information. So if you want to talk to Kim McFarland, I'm sure she'd be more than willing to take your the information that you've collected and talk to you about it. Also, I wanted to check. I think Supervisor Brandon, you're available. You're with us on Zoom right now, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'm feeling a little bit ill. I didn't want anybody else to get sick.
And we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other public comment?
Thank you. Since no one else is getting up, I would like to ask that everyone in the room please properly wear your mask and cover your nose and mouth. I know you're in a hurry and you have an interview coming up. So there's some students at Sonora High School who want to form a ping pong team, apparently. So they're looking for people who have unused ping pong tables and their paddles if they would like to donate them. So they can call Martin Feng at 415-928-9099 or John Shaw at 209-454-7494. ATCA is still looking for people to adopt a family this holiday season. You can call 209-694-8698. The library has a reading program on Thursday mornings. They're looking for people who would like to come in and be a volunteer reader. So if you would like to do that, I see some people in the back who I think would be really good at that. If they would like to call the library and volunteer with Lynn McCormick. There's also the community of interest worksheets going around town if anyone would like to fill out those about the supervisorial districts. The senior center is going to be doing their Thanksgiving meal on Monday, this coming Monday. And then I was prepared to come and get on my soapbox because we really do need to have a discussion in our community about pedestrian and bicycle safety and those non-motorized vehicles, because we are not a safe place. And I haven't been anywhere in Tuolumne County walking on my two little feet where I have felt safe in Tuolumne County. And we are hurting people, we are killing people, and we are driving dangerously, and that really bothers me. I was at the junction yesterday with Wendy Gast, and they were putting in 2 new stop signs because someone ran over one of them. And so they were right there by the 2 thoroughfares going through the junction at the 3-point stop. And there was hardly anyone who made a stop at those stop signs. And we're sitting there watching people. And it was like the older you are and the more expensive your car, the least likely you were to stop. So we really need to do something about our traffic safety in this county.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there any other public comment? No, if you can come up to the microphone, the reason for that is so that folks watching at home will be able to hear what you say.
I want to comment on 0.7, but I haven't been here in 6 weeks. When do I comment on that?
So after the oral communications portion, we'll open up the consent calendar, and so you'll have an opportunity to speak about it at that time.
Okay.
So it's right after this and staff reports, so thank you. Okay, if there's no other public comment from the room, we'll check in with Zoom. Do we have any hands raised? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll close oral communications and move on to staff reports. Are there any staff reports? Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Campbell, members of the board. I'm Kelly Schroeder, your Tuolumne County Agricultural Commissioner. And in accordance with Section 2279 of the California Food and Agricultural Code, I am pleased to present the 2020 Annual Report of Agricultural Production in Tuolumne County, and I've provided each of you with a copy, and there's some at the back desk. The 2020 gross value of agricultural production is $37,826,956. This is a 7.8% decrease from last year's production value. Overall, timber production decreased 22% due to a decrease in cost per ton going to our local cogeneration plants. The agricultural production, excluding harvested timber, was valued at $24,849,055, which is an increase of 1.9% from the 2019 value. Livestock and poultry continued to be our number one crop at $17,823,645, and harvested timber was our number two crop at $12,977,901. I wish to express my appreciation to the agricultural producers, organizations, and public agencies that have cooperated in providing data for this report, and to my staff who put in a lot of hours to complete this report. My office will submit this report to the Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture, post the report on the Tuolumne County Agricultural Commissioner's Office website, and disseminate the report to interested parties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other staff reports? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Alex Parnell, one of the car seat technicians for Public Health's Keep Baby Safe program. I wanted to share that we will be having a free virtual car seat class on December 1st from 5 to 6 p.m. For anyone who's interested in learning more about car seat safety or have any questions they would like answered. If anyone's interested in registering for the class, they can call the health department at 533-7401. We also have a limited supply of free car seats available, and convertible or booster seats for anyone who has Medi-Cal, CalWorks, CalFresh, or WIC. In addition to the event, we also provide free one-on-one car seat coaching and car seat checks. For anyone interested in registering or have any additional questions about our program, they can call the health department. Again, the number is 533-7401. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any additional staff reports? All right, we'll close the staff report section and move on to the consent calendar. So, Ms. Ryan, would you please read the consent calendar for us?
Item number 1, approving the minutes of the November 9, 2021 meeting. Item number 2, adopting subsequent resolution 114-21, making findings in support of allowing remote meetings pursuant to AB 361, modified Brown Act procedures during a declared emergency. Item number 3, approving the Department of Social Service personnel request to convert 1 FTE eligibility specialist 3 to staff services analyst 1-2 and approve the modification to the fiscal year 2021-2022 position allocation report. Item number 4, approving the PRISM Health Program Memorandum of Understanding. Item number 5, adopting resolution 115-21, accepting the annual reports of accounting activities relative to the traffic impact mitigation fee for the fiscal year 2020-2021, the tribal road mitigation funds for fiscal year 2020-2021, and other traffic mitigation funds for fiscal year 2020-2021, and adopting the findings therein as required by Government Code Section 66000. Item number 6, accepting and approving the Southwest Border States Rural Law Enforcement Assistance Grant from the Institute for Intergovernmental Research in the amount of $145,000 to provide laptop computers for emergency vehicles and recognize the unanticipated revenue, increase appropriations, and authorizing the county administrator to sign all grant-related documents. 4/5 vote required. Item number 7, approving the COVID-19 vaccination mandate and testing policies implementing the August 5 and September 28, 2021 CDPH orders. Item number 8, approving the appointment of Jolyn Miller and Suzanne Remeister to the Juvenile Justice Coordinating Council. Item number 9, adopting Resolution 116-21, approving the summary vacation of a public road easement as described in Exhibit A attached to the resolution. Item number 10, adopting Resolution 117-21 for signature delegation to the District Attorney for California Office of Emergency Services Child Advocacy Centers, KC program. Item number 11, waiving the second reading and adopting an ordinance adding Chapter 1.12 to the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, allowing adoption of future supervisorial district boundaries through passage of a resolution, and repealing Tuolumne County Ordinance number 3179, establishing supervisorial districts. And item number 12, approving the donation of $2,600 from White Rock Family LLC in the form of property rental of the property located at 10850 Mount Brow Road, and authorizing the county administrator to sign.
All right, thank you. Would any supervisor like to pull an item from the consent?
Yes, I'd like to pull number 7, please.
Any other items? Okay. Would any supervisor like to comment on the consent calendar as a whole, saving item 7? No? Okay. Is there any public comment on consent accepting item number 7?
I just want to say to Heather that you do a really good job on the minutes. And I interrupted you several times when you were doing your documentation the other day, but I'm just really impressed, and you do a really good job.
I agree. Okay. Okay, so if there's no other comment on consent except for item 7, which has been pulled, so.
Oh, so it has been.
It has been pulled, so you'll be able to speak about it. But if there's no other comment on the rest of the consent, then I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes accepting number 7.
The consent calendar.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'll second
Consent
that.
calendar.
Okay. All right, I have a motion to approve consent minus item 7. Second, motion by Supervisor Goldenberg, second by Supervisor Half. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please. Oh, you're right. So if you'll please read the roll for us, Ms. Ryan.
Supervisor Goldenberg,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk,
Aye.
Supervisor Half,
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Ms. Ryan, will you please read item 7 once more for us? Oh, and I'm sorry that the vote passed 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 7, approving the COVID-19 vaccination mandate and testing policies implementing the August 5 and September 28, 2021 CDPH orders.
Okay.
So I pulled this so we can vote on this separately.
Okay. Is there any comment from board members? If not, I'll go ahead and open public comment. Okay, so is there any public comment on this item? Yeah. So apologies for the, now would be your opportunity to speak on this particular item. So if you'll join us once more at the podium, apologies for the up and down.
I was going through my email yesterday, and I almost every day for the last 3 months. And on item number 7 that you were planning on approving is actually dead in the water right now, as of yesterday. A 3-panel judge writes that, that's a 3-panel judge, that writes that the mandate likely violates the constitutional structure, safeguards of our collective liberty. And it does. And I do have U.S. Supreme Court rulings on this, but I'm not fully awake because I didn't have my coffee and I didn't know this item seven was coming up. So I want to give that to you. That's for you, Ryan. And so that's federal. The 3-panel judge is federal. So you can't go through with this with your employees of 100 or more. You can get more information on that, but it's been ruled illegal by 3-panel judge. Companies or businesses or government, 100 employees or more, you have to get vaccinated, tested, but that's at the expense of the employer, not the employee. That just blew it out of the water, and you can't go against federal law. You did swear an oath to the Constitution, verbally, and you signed off in print. And then let's see, what else do I have time? Now, the next subject, county library, from October 5th, when I came here last, about 6 weeks ago. Thank you for fixing the computer screens. And I watched you. You never, no phone call, and you're a very good, smart guy, because you did it by telepathy. You got the IT guys out there immediately. And one of the employees told me.
And I apologize, we're a little off the
I'm
topic
sorry.
with that.
That's right. I see what. Sorry about that. I should have done that in the beginning.
Is taken, and thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there any other comment on this? Okay. Any hands on Zoom? No hands on Zoom. Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the board. I think Supervisor Brandon, you had something you'd like to say.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and I was going to pull the item as well. One thing that I wanted to bring back up for discussion. So we had this last meeting, and we were talking about the potential of having thermometer checks added in for public meetings in some of the workplaces as an additional protection for guests of our meetings and for employees. I believe that we need to implement this today, and I think staff maybe can talk a little bit more about the timeline of when this needs to be done, but potentially providing direction that this is something that we would like to implement. If we could have a clear one, because I think at the last meeting, I thought that we did have direction on the thermometers, but we did not.
And it's not in there.
Yeah, I think what we're talking about here is the mandate and testing policy that came down from the state and was approved by our county's labor groups in the form that it is now. So if we were to change it, we would have to go back to those labor groups, and I don't know that that they would approve it or not. So.
Supervisor Campbell, can I address
Yes.
a couple items? First item is the federal case that Mr. Flynn was addressing does not apply. That is specific to the federal OSHA, the emergency temporary standards. So these policies are based on the California Department of Public Health officer orders, and they are legally valid at this time. Should the law change, obviously, we would be updating your board. But these policies are legally valid. As you said, they were bargained with the impacted employee groups, so that has been taken care of. And then to Supervisor Brandon's point, to add anything to these policies would require the county to go back and meet and confer. To unilaterally add it without that process is an unfair labor practice. Thank you.
So in layman's terms, so in the employees are the ones that agree to this as it is right now,
Correct.
or the groups that represent the employees at least.
Correct.
And so what we're being asked to do is approve the plan that the labor groups agreed to.
Right, and again, as we've discussed several times before, this is the current state of the law. The board doesn't have jurisdiction to not follow the current state of the law.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any other?
So, yeah, couple quick comments. Obviously, this is an area that's been discussed at length. Understanding there's concerns. As a board, we have discussed this previously several times. We agreed that we would support our public health, that we would follow the state public health orders. And we've met and conferred with the employees during the bargaining process. So as such, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the COVID-19 vaccination mandate and testing policies implementing the August 5th and September 28th, 21 California Department of Public Health orders.
Sure.
I just want to say, I think what Supervisor Brandon, I think what you're getting at is these are state orders specific for certain workers. There is still discussion going on with other bargaining units about maybe enhanced discussion like temperature checks or testing everybody.
There is discussions regarding testing, but that no other additional regulation on top of that. So if that's something your board would like to discuss, I would recommend we talk about that in the bargaining closed session.
I just want to, I thought that's where we were at, but thank you. Sorry to jump in between your motion.
So a motion from Supervisor Goldenberg to approve. I'll go ahead and second Supervisor Goldenberg's motion. And if there's no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Ryan, would you please read the roll?
Supervisor Goldenberg,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk,
No.
Supervisor Half,
No.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
Okay, so motion passes with 3 votes yes and 2 votes no, with Supervisors Kirk and Half voting no. Okay, so that completes everything on consent. So what we'll do now, we actually have a closed session that has a time element to it. That's our 9 o'clock appointment. So I'll ask Ms. Ryan to read that, and we will have to, the board will have to leave this room and go into closed session.
9 a.m. closed session, public employee appointment, Authority Government Code Section 94957, Public Health Officer.
Okay, is there any public comments on this closed session item?
We don't seem to have very much luck appointing someone to this position, and I can see why. I think it looks really crappy when you've negotiated something with all of your employees and you're following the public health law, and 2 of your supervisors sitting up there vote against it. This is something that's been negotiated. It's something that came down from the state. Who do you think you are? And then you want someone to come and take over the public health officer position. When we sat here for 6 hours while you beat up Sergenko and Michelle Jaquetta over all these things because you did a Google search and you know better than they do. I'm just appalled. So I'm just, well, it takes a lot of guts for someone to come here and interview with you for this job.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
All right, let's see, you're Sarah Carella. Okay, so you're the senior lawyer. You said regulations.
So if you could address your comments to the board.
Oh, okay, I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
sorry. I'm not fully awake, haven't been here in 6 weeks. When she was commenting about the vaccination or testing, she mentioned, your lawyer mentioned regulations, state regulations. So, is your loyalties to our crooked governor, Gavin Newsom, in the state of California, or is your loyalties to the upholding the Constitution of the United States? And the people of the United States are all the private citizens in this boardroom right now. I'm the United States. He's the United States. She's the United States. She's the United States. That's who you swear your oath to. So on regulations that she mentioned, state regulations, Miranda versus Arizona, 384 U.S. Now, I mentioned this on July 6th verbally in front of 50 people. 1966 reveals that where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. And so, who are you working for? The folks, United States, of the United States. When you swear your oath of the United States, Ryan Campbell, the private citizens in this boardroom are the United States. I'm the United States, United States, United States, United States, United States. That's who you're working for in this county. Everybody on Washington Street, Old County. Anybody comes in from the U.S. territories, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, America Samoa. That's who you're working for. So, who are you working for? Well, I'm asking you a question. So I got, you're working for our crooked governor in the California Public Health Department, Gavin Newsom, or are you working for your oath of office? Who's your allegiance to? Want to comment?
So are you finished with your comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and of
No,
the
you
state
did
of
not.
California.
No, not the United States of America, of the United States. United States of
Okay.
America.
So this is why I asked you if you were done with your comments. This is not a time to have an interaction.
Okay.
You asked me a question and I answered it. Thank you very much.
Incorrectly. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other public comments? Any on Zoom? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to go into closed session. Do we expect to report out, County Council? Okay. So at this time, we'll go into closed session. Thank you very much. All right. Welcome back. We're back from closed session. We have nothing to report. At this time, we have some additional, we have an 11 o'clock appointment, and then we have two other closed session items. Ms. Ryden, would you please read our 11 a.m. Appointment and then items 20 and 21.
(11 a.m. Closed session, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Authority Government Code Section 54956.9 D1, National Prescription Opiate Litigation, United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio, Eastern Division, case number 117-MD-2804-DAP. Closed session item number 20, conference with labor negotiators Tracy Riggs, County Administrator, Eric Earhart, Assistant County Administrator, and Ann Frem, Human Resources Director, Authority Government Code Section 54957.6, all bargaining units. Item number 21, closed session, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Authority Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, 6 cases.
Okay. Is there any public comment on these closed session items? Any hands on Zoom? Okay. County Council, do we anticipate a report out?
Potentially.
Okay. So potentially a report out. All right. So what we'll do is we will go into closed session, and at that time we will return at 1:30 for our 1:30 appointment. Okay, welcome back to this meeting of the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors for November 16th, 2021. So we came back from closed session, And on the conference with legal counsel, opioid litigation, Supervisor Kirk moved and Supervisor Goldenberg seconded. And by a vote of 5-0, the board voted to approve pursuing litigation against McKinsey and Company Incorporated in the national opioid litigation matter, and has authorized county counsel along with outside counsel Barron and Budd and its co-counsel to pursue this litigation. On item 21, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Supervisor Half moved and Supervisor Goldenberg seconded, and by a vote of 5-0, the board voted to direct county counsel to intervene in an action which is confidential at this point, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.1. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming back. So we have a 1:30 appointment. And so I'll ask our board clerk, Ms. Ryan, could you please read that appointment for us?
1:30 p.m. Golden State Natural Resources GSNR update. Guest speakers: GSNR President and CEO Greg Norton and GSNR Vice President Kevin Can.
Welcome.
Is this okay?
Yeah, if you want to come up to the front desk there.
Thank you. Can I remove my mask to speak, or do you need to leave it on?
So we're following the guideline that all masks will stay on
Okay.
while in the
That works.
board chambers.
All right. Well, thank you for having us, Supervisor Campbell, Chair Campbell. Appreciate the opportunity that we have to speak with you guys here today and share a little bit with you about what we're doing. My name is Greg Norton. I'm President and CEO with Golden State Natural Resources. With me today is Kevin Can. He's Vice President with Golden State Natural Resources. Probably know him formerly a county supervisor in Mariposa County. And so we'll both be happy to have some conversation with you and questions, et cetera, following. I also want to acknowledge and thank Supervisor Half. She's been with RCRC and GSFA as a delegate, and we really appreciate her time and leadership there. I just retired from RCRC as the president and CEO of it and the affiliates back in March. I worked there for better than 20 years, so I'm very much tied to rural counties in California and what's happening with them. And so we appreciate your time and leadership work there, so thank you. I just kind of mentioned it, but I want to give you a little bit of background on GSNR and who we are. Golden State Natural Resources, I'll probably keep saying GSNR, so hopefully that's fine. GSNR was actually created and sponsored by RCRC and Golden State Finance Authority, an affiliate entity of RCRC. They sponsored the creation of those of Golden State Natural Resources for a number of purposes, which I'll share with you in a moment. And Tuolumne County, as I stated with Supervisor Half, is a member, of course, of both of those entities and has been a long-term member of RCRC's for a long time, and we really appreciate that. So Tuolumne County, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I want to come back to, I don't know, I'm sure Supervisor Half gives you updates, but RCRC represents Tuolumne County and all the 37 rural counties at federal and state advocacy, legislative and regulatory, and also operates a number of programs such as Golden State Finance Authority, National Home Buyers Fund, the Environmental Services JPA, and in that same kind of realm is where we created a couple of years ago GSNR. It's for public benefit, public purpose, to be a benefit to rural California and its constituents, and also then much more. So GSNR is a California nonprofit public benefit corporation. We applied for a private letter ruling and received 501c3 designation from the IRS. And it was simply stated, GSNR has been created to be a forest resiliency company with the stated guiding principles that are all about public purpose, public benefit, excuse me, for the communities in which we work and then for all of the rural communities. Really quickly, at a high level, a project summary more specifically is that GSNR is focused on reducing excess biomass loads in our forests to help decrease the level of fire intensity and catastrophic fires. We are designing this on a market-driven approach, which I'll elaborate on in a moment, because it needs to be sustainable long-term. And for the necessary benefits to occur, it has to be a long-term effort and not a one-time effort. GSNR will contract with biomass. We'll contract for the biomass to be removed with multiple suppliers and contractors. We'll have the biomass transported to the facilities where we will produce initially industrialized pellets, And from there, they will be taken by rail to the port and then exported to international markets where they're utilizing wood pellets such as these to replace the utilization of coal, and in some cases, co-firing with coal for energy generation to decrease the amount of coal that's used in energy generation worldwide. There are numerous benefits to that effort, and this occurring, and our focus is on primarily on these to get toward forest health and resiliency, reduce the loads in our forests to help decrease the intensity of fires, as I stated previously. There's a lot of public health and public benefit and safety related efforts associated with that. Many environmental benefits, including decreased emissions from the fires, but also improved carbon sequestration with healthier forests, enhancement to air quality, water quality and quantity in our watersheds, and much more. Also, another area of focus for us, and really driven by our RCRC focus on rural California, is job creation and rural economic development. So there's a number of other things that will be benefited from it as well, but these are the primary areas. By way of update to date, sorry, I keep playing with my mask. It just wants to drop down with my beard. To date, we've signed a 20-year master stewardship agreement with Region 5. It is statewide in California, including all 18 national forests in the region. We're working with industry professionals to design, build, and operate the facilities that we are going to be operating. We're in conversation with interested off-takers, those that will purchase the pellets from us and utilize them in place of coal in many other locations around the world. In fact, we're going to be on a tour I was just sharing with Supervisor Half. The next 3 days, we will be on a tour with the largest pellet utilizer in the world. They're coming here from the UK to visit with us and take them on a tour of parts of California and our forests and places that we will be working because they have strong interest in what we're doing. We've purchased our first location. It's the one here in Tuolumne County. It's on LaGrange Road in Jamestown, next to American Wood Fibers. And we're in escrow to purchase the second location that's in Northern California in Lassen County. Specifically regarding the county site, it's where previously was a SPI bark facility. I'm sure you're all aware of that. In regard to our owners, engineers, to date, we have gone through, there's a process in engineering they go through called front-end loading, FEL. There's 3 different phases, and then we will go to the procurement and construction contractor. We have completed FEL1 and FEL2 on the site, so which means we're pretty far along in the engineering and design of that location. So we have a lot of good work that's been done there, and we're now proceeding again. We had it on a bit of a pause for the county, this location, while we were finding and settling on a site in Northern California. Now that we are in escrow on that, both those sites are moving forward pretty much paralleled. Following a lot of detailed feedstock assessment and analysis in the county, we've gone through a few different levels of it. We're designing this facility to be a 300,000 metric ton producing pellet facility. And we think that it'll be near completion of the project description. Very soon we should have that completed. We'll be going into full CEQA from that for both sites and a port, and then surrounding forest areas that we would be working in. We expect that we'll be started on that pretty soon. We've already begun on some of the CEQA and NEPA work already in anticipation of getting to this point. The site here in Tuolumne currently includes a cogeneration for our energy generation on that location, and that is what is included in the CEQA document. But however, we're hopeful in some work that we're doing with PG&E that we might be able to come up with a different resolution there to make it where we won't have cogen energy generation. And so we're working with them on that, and hopefully that's something that'll be settled on here fairly soon. In regard to the operation of that site specifically would employ 55 or 60 people on the regular operation of the site, full-time positions. It would employ significantly more than that through contractors and suppliers and others that we work with. So it would be a good employer for both the county and the region. The pellets would be railed by Sierra Northern off the site and connected to Class 1 rail to go to port. And overall, the project combined on the 2 sites and the port is for 1 million metric tons of pellets. Again, I said we're in discussions with the one off-taker that's going to be here this week. There are others that are very interested in this project and that are working with us on it, so we're really encouraged by that. And I know I'm kind of flying through this. I'm just kind of giving you guys a whole framework of all of it, and then we can have some conversation. The project is designed to primarily be funded by private capital via debt issuance and equity investment. We have had some really good discussions in that realm. And although none of us can really predict the timing on CEQA and NEPA, right now the project calendar calls for us producing pellets in the first half of 2024. So if we're producing in the first half of 2024, 6 months prior to that, we would begin accessing biomass and fiber, et cetera. In regard to feedstock, we are in the process of firming up fiber supply in various locations. GSNR will contract for and fund the NEPA performance on the federal forests so that we're not, we both can be beneficial to the Forest Service and help them to deal with some of the budget and staffing issues they have, but at the same time, we're increasing the pace for us to be able to get things done on a scheduled basis. We will then work with the Forest Service to develop supplemental project agreements for specific sites, which we are already working on one in Northern California, and we have others that we're pursuing that we should hopefully get some other supplemental project agreements also started fairly soon, even before construction. We also look forward to working cooperatively with the Forest Service and a number of others. I know there's a lot of industry folks in this area, which is outstanding. A lot of really good groups and all that are already working in the biomass industry. We've had contact with some, and we're look forward to doing that with others. We've been working with and speaking with the Associated California Loggers, with Yosemite Stanislaus Solutions. We look forward to meeting with the other MSA holders, and we've had some indirect communication with them. Fire safe councils, private forest owners, and many others that would be involved with this. And what we're planning on doing, and I want to make sure I'm really clear about this, is that I know there's a lot of need for fiber from some of those utilizers here already. I know, and again, I know these are just words, but we will demonstrate it as this is how we will operate. We look to be no harm at all to any of them, including their employment and their fiber utilization. We want to bring benefit, this public purpose, public benefit to this area and the region as well as in the forest. Our board members are all elected county supervisors, so this is not a for-profit that's trying to come in and just take over. It has to make money, it has to be profitable, so it's long-term market sustainable so that we have long-term benefits. But our focus is on enhancing that. So when it comes to fiber access and utilization, we will work with the other parties and you make sure that we're in good communications with them and hopefully in many times in cooperation with them in accessing fiber. Our MSA should allow us to be able to do some other things as well with some of the other MSAs that are here, and we look forward to being able to cooperate and work with those folks to make it a much better situation for us and for them. In regard to other folks we've had communications with at the county, also with Economic Development and Cole, Perzbella, we look forward to continuing working with them. Actually, Cole has been engaged with us on this for some time. We're happy and thankful for Supervisors half support, as well as the rest of you, and we look forward to working with you and your community on making this happen, because we think it can be very positive for the community, the region, and for our forests. And the idea with Golden State Natural Resources is that we would continue to do this as we if we have success like we intend, and we believe we will, in other areas of the states, we can be a larger part of the solution to our forest conditions here in California. And again, we would do that and partner with the community in the areas in which we work. So again, I flew through that, but thank you again for the opportunity to be able to do that. And Kevin and I are both would be very pleased to be able to have a Q&A with you.
Great, thank you very much for that overview. Very good information and a really great program that's going on. Supervisor Half, do you have any questions or?
Actually, I don't. I think that there might be people in the room that will have questions, and I would like to give all of my time to any of you to clear up any questions that you might have regarding this project.
Okay, fair enough. Any questions, Supervisor Goldenberg?
No, thanks. I'm sorry. Thanks for the presentation. Yeah, so glad to hear that it's moving forward. You know, timeframes, I think you said first half of 2024, looking to collect product about 6 months prior. You know, there's other projects that have been proposed. Some of them are in the works, and you know, as you described, you know, we have facilities here, you know, as well. So, you know, my main concern would be that, you know, we just look to see, is there enough product, you know, to supply all these different efforts. But yeah, looking forward to hearing more about this. You know, definitely has a lot of positive aspects. So,
Well,
thanks.
thank you, Supervisor. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
In regard to the feedstock side, I know you didn't ask it in the form of a question, but just briefly, we had a national firm come in and take an initial look at it that does this for pellet industry. But then we worked here more closely, actually, with Chris Trott, CT Bioenergy, and some folks that he knows that are doing GIS mapping, so we can be very specific about being conservative about slopes and areas and protected areas, road conditions, et cetera, to be very careful and thorough about the level of feedstock. And the sizing of the facility at 300,000 metric tons was selected following the assessment of feedstock availability, including what other industry are using in the area. So we feel comfortable with that, and that assessment also is based on a 20-year path of utilization.
And yeah, I did have one other question. Thought you just indicated that you had signed a 20-year agreement with Region 5. Maybe you could just describe that a little bit further. I know between the plant here and your Lassen facility, how are you going to get the product to those two plants? I mean, you know, transportation costs are pretty expensive. You know,
they certainly are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we in each of the sites we're looking at, and I'll come back to the MSA. We're looking at a 100-mile radius working circle. So here you would have basically a 180-degree one because it goes out to the Central Valley. But we looked at that radius with a number of attributes, as I noted, that would be limiting our ability to access fiber from, you know, slopes, et cetera, protected areas like I noted. What the MSA does for us is that we have a very comprehensive MSA. We took a lot of time working with the Forest Service on it in DC. And it is going to permit us to get on a lot of landscapes that have not previously been accessed. Part of that being that with us funding the NEPA and privately contracting for the NEPA, we will be able to work way in advance on NEPA assessment, going through the process, and then supplemental project agreement, so that we'd be accessing in stage more fiber than has previously been accessed. The Forest Service is really interested and wants us to do this. What we're hoping is what that does is it benefits other industry in the area as well. So, for example, if we have a supplemental project on a landscape that has a lot of commercial timber that is part of the treatment to be taken, you know, SPI and others could utilize that timber. We could work out, you know, agreements with them to do so. There's still going to be a lot of other fiber in the overgrowth and the harvest residuals, and et cetera, that would occur, as well as fiber from other areas in this area, even in the lower non-forested areas, and a lot of the overgrowth that's in place that we could also be a part of helping to create and help with more defensible space. And also, on the whole, there's quite a lot of fiber, and we think that the MSA, though, is the biggest piece of making that available on the Forest Service lands that have previously not been utilized so much.
Right. Yeah. And appreciated. I mean, you know, there's a huge, you know, fuel loading out there that, you know, needs to be addressed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Brandon.
Great, thank you. Excuse me, a little congested. I just first want to say that I really love the idea of the project of being able to have, you know, sustainable fuel pellets, turning what is a liability for us, you know, in biomass removal, and being able to put that towards conversion for power plants, grow our economy, create local jobs. So I think it's a great example of some creative problem solving for multiple issues with one really good solution. So very interested in seeing this with more detail and more of the proposal. And I also really liked being able to visit at RCRC, the stand that you had set up and some of the information presented. My main question is going to workforce housing. If there's any plans with the project to have housing built for any of the workers that are on site or near there. As you know, we do have a bit of a housing issue up here.
Yes, we've had some some conversations about that. Let me go back just really quickly though, and I think it kind of goes back to prior question as well. But in regard to the sustainable product and being able to have a market that meets that too, one of the things that Supervisor Brandon just referred to that we were targeting initially is the unmerchantable and the low and no value feedstock that's currently not for so long just not had a value. It just needs a place to go. This provides a place for that with a market that's viable that helps us to be able to do much more than otherwise would be able to be done. So I'm thankful that he reminded me of that. In regard to workforce housing, we've talked about this in a number of forums with regarding workforce housing as well as workforce development. During the construction period, there will be a lot more people on site than 50 or 60. And so we will need to figure out housing for them as well as long-term employment. And so specifically in regard to the county, we have not yet, determined a recommendation or how to proceed on that, but it is something we're very aware of and working on.
Great. I appreciate hearing that. I think any opportunity in this project to have a discussion with the county of how we might be able to partner to assist in some type of, when we have these large economic development projects, they can have an impact on the local housing market. Certainly that's already stretched out for a lot of residential and local purposes. And I think it's something that, could be very advantageous to being able to get good qualified employees and ease that situation. So hopefully moving forward, that will continue to be an ongoing topic of discussion.
Yes,
and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for raising that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Well, the only really question I had, you guys already answered it. You guys are working with Cole. I know Cole's working with different other entities. And for me, this is, it sounds like it's just you guys are just bringing us up to speed. I wasn't sure if you need anything from us at this point, but for me, it's exciting. Growing up in this community, my grandfather was a chemist, and when I think when I was 5 or 7, we were picking bark beetles. He said that our forests aren't managed. Eventually, there'll be droughts, and then these bark beetles will come in and kill the trees, and then we'll have mega wildfires. And here I am, 37 years old. I've been seeing this take place since the rimfire, and so to be at this seat, to see that now the tables are turning, to see all these little partners and groups figuring out solutions and partnering with different agencies and different companies to get the most out of the fiber that's going to be out there. It's a cool place to be, and I think it's going to be a long future. As far as feasibility, I don't think private capital would be coming if there wasn't a long-term, work out there. So I support it, and anything we can do to help you guys.
Thank you.
It's a good place to be right now. So
yeah, thank you, Supervisor. And we do not have a specific ask of the county today. Obviously, we will be working with you and needing to work together in cooperation, making sure we get through the processes and do everything the right way, and the permitting side, et cetera. We've had some conversations with some other of your staff as well that have been very helpful. And Cole has been incredibly supportive and helpful in this effort. He's gone out on site visits with us and all as well. So he's been outstanding participant in helping us to get where we are. I know you guys know this, but you have some great things occurring in this county already, like with YSS and others that are doing some really great work. And we just look forward to adding to that and working with them and the other folks to make it that much better.
Yeah, and I agree with what the other supervisors had said. It's important in any thriving economy to not put all your eggs in one basket. Right. Not to simply focus on tourism, although we have an excellent tourism economy in Tuolumne County, to not simply focus on agriculture, although we have extremely successful agricultural interests in our county, not to focus simply on medical care. We have some very good medical care facilities in Tuolumne County, but to focus on all of them, because that makes you a more resilient community. If one sector is suffering a downturn, as the cycle of economies, it will occur, you're able to buoy up your economy with the other elements. And to me, this is a very important element of industry that utilizes some of the natural resources that we have in abundance in our community, and leveraging that into a successful business, I think, is exactly what we should be supporting. And so thank you very much for the work that you've been doing and for keeping us up to date on it. And I'm sure you have as much support as you need right here going forward.
Thank you.
I did want to open it up to the community if there's any public comment or anyone would like to add or Anything to the discussion?
Supervisor, while you're
That would
waiting
be
for
the
that, I
time.
will mention that some of the
Yes,
things
sir.
you just mentioned in our assessment of locations are the very reasons why we wanted to locate here. So some wonderful things about this community in a lot of different ways, and we're looking forward to being a part of it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that it's the best place in the world to live, right? Yeah, come on down.
My name is Randy Hanvelt, citizen of Tuolumne County, and I just like to speak in favor of this project because I think it has far-reaching implications for the county and the state of California. What GNSR is doing is the first move to improve and expand the infrastructure that does wood processing in this state. If you've been paying attention, you'll know that we don't have many sawmills left in this state. We're down to a fraction of what we had 30 years ago, a very small fraction. Wildfire, contrary to everything else the state talks about in terms of greenhouse gases and stuff, and electrifying everything, which is a debate for another time, the major source of greenhouse gases in this state has been, for a very long time before rimfire, wildland fire. It outpaces automobiles by many factors every year. The last 2 years, we burned like 2.5 million acres each. These guys are going to take biomass out of our forests. Biomass, if it isn't taken out of the forest, is either pile burned or it's left to rot, which just produces greenhouse gases. If you want to make a major impact on what's going on in the state, you pull out all the stops and you help GNSR make this happen on the fastest possible schedule. It means lots of things for Tuolumne County and the state, but for Tuolumne County, it means jobs, real jobs. I know Supervisor Brandon talked about workforce housing. You want to work on workforce housing, you got to do that by reducing regulations so you can get it cheaper and affordable. These guys are going to create real jobs, and they're going to create real permanent jobs, not only the people working on site, but truckers and people processing and handling wood in the forest to get it there. This is the biggest economic impact in Tuolumne County since SPI decided that they were going to rebuild the Standard Mill. And the Standard Mill rebuild was saving jobs. This is creating jobs. You guys need to pull out all the stops and make this thing happen for the people of Tuolumne County. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, welcome.
I actually find this incredibly exciting. I think that we're on a cusp of a new evolution here with a number of technologies that'll be coming forward that are going to really be able to put value to biomass and are going to help us turn the corner for all of the reasons that I think you are very well versed in. We've heard today, and I'm excited, and I hope that you are equally as excited, and I know that this county is going to be vested in making these solutions happen. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay. Are there any hands up on Zoom? No hands up. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll bring it back to the board and send it over to Supervisor Half.
Thank you. My question has to do with, we've been talking about the forest and the woody biomass on the forest. And my question is more for the fire safe councils and the, what's it called? The Firewise communities. Do you have any plans so far in place for how you're going to, because I know you're going to be addressing those two entities as well and helping them with their projects, and we're getting a growing number of Firewise communities here. So what can you tell us that you're preparing for, number one, and how can we better prepare for you coming in to help these entities?
Well, thank you for asking that. It's a really good question. I'm sorry I didn't address it in my comments. So with fire safe councils, resource conservation districts, Firewise communities, et cetera, as well as some other things that I'll note in a moment. We have had conversations with them. We do plan on working with them cooperatively. There's a number of benefits that can occur that would be truly win-win benefits. In the work that they're doing and the project they're working on that really vary, a lot of times one of their challenges is getting rid of the material, either masticating and spreading or otherwise leaving it a burn pile, whatever the case might be. We can be a benefit to that by taking the material, saving them hopefully some money in their processes with not having to dispose, and leaving them with more resources to do more good work that they're doing. So that's part of the way that we would work with them. We also think that there's some opportunities for us to work together with them on expanded projects where they are working, where it's an area that we also think we can work and cooperate with, and that we could provide additional benefits by doing it together. There's a number of others that we're speaking with, kind of in that similar realm. PG&E with their vegetation management process has had a number of conversations with us and is very interested in us helping them. The transportation issues for those groups is also quite expensive, so we can be a resource in utilizing transportation that we will have to help decrease their costs, where we can absorb the cost because of the fiber that we're getting for the pellet production. I've even had these same kind of discussions with both the state and the federal government about transportation routes where they're doing the treatments and what they're having to do with that material, where we can do the same thing by taking the material and decreasing their costs on those projects so they can treat more miles. So there's a number of efforts like that that we've had discussions about that we plan on further engaging. We're getting to the point now where we're looking at signing memorandums of understanding, letters of agreement, et cetera, that would lead further to the path to formal agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is an information-only item, and so we thank you very much for the information, and please continue doing all the good work that you are currently engaged in.
Thank you. We look forward to visiting with you again soon. So thank you very much for having us today.
And please don't hesitate to use this board as a resource in supporting you in your endeavors.
Well, thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll try to be less chatty next time.
You were the eye candy. So. I'm looking at the wrong agenda. There we go. Okay. So I believe we're pulling item 13, correct? Okay, so just an update, we are pulling item 13. We will certainly discuss that at a future board meeting and give it the consideration that it is due. So item 13 is pulled. And so, Mr. Assistant CAO, would you prefer to start on item 14?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and move forward to item 14.
Okay. Ms. Ryan, would you please read item 14 for us then?
Item number 14, consideration of approving an integrated multi-year support agreement between the County of Tuolumne Behavioral Health Department and Kingsview Professional Services for the maintenance, support, migration, and hosting of a federally mandated electronic health record system, including the new credible product along with the legacy system Cerner, not to exceed $500,000 per fiscal year, and authorize the county administrator to sign all related documents.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I am Tammy Mariscal, a Deputy Director for the Behavioral Health Department. Tuolumne County Behavioral Health, like other 57 counties, is mandated to adopt and maintain use of an electronic health record and health information system that is capable of meeting state and federal statutes set forth in contracts between the Department of Healthcare Services and counties. The statutes require counties to demonstrate ongoing compliance with the federal health information system standards specifically identified in the Code of Federal Regulations 42, Section 438.242. The standards include, but are not limited to, the protection of treatment records, medical records maintenance, quality of care outcomes, data production, analyses, and claiming. Behavioral Health currently contracts with Kingsview Professional Services to support the county's EHR including training the staff on the use of the system and providing both fiscal and regulatory guidance. Through our contracting for professional services and the use of a compliant electronic health record, we preserve our eligibility to receive state and federal revenue while avoiding fiscal sanctions related to noncompliance. This contract renewal will allow Tuolumne County Behavioral Health to remain compliant and prepared for the pending implementation of various state and federal initiatives. Kingsview has been instrumental in providing unwavering professional services. They are considered experts in the field, often early with implementing mandates, keeping behavioral health in compliance. Kingsview provides support 24/7 through a help desk comprised of professional IT people who know the county's needs and how to meet any request. In the area of inquiries outside of the standard support, Kingsview's team has been able to modify customized reports to aid the county in meeting the needs of both leadership and auditing agencies. Other services include research and drafting of plans to respond to mandated initiatives, developing outcome measures, quality assurance, and improvement monitoring tools, as well as customized dashboards. Behavioral health relies on these professional services for the development and maintenance of the 837 HIPAA-compliant claims submitted to the state for Medi-Cal reimbursement monthly. This vendor has a knowledgeable, and professional team who work effectively with our local staff on claiming issues. The relationship and support over the years has contributed to Tuolumne County's less than 1.2 denial rate, which is unmatched compared to most counties. This is a critical contract that provides stability to the behavioral health system and the workforce in all areas of programming and operations. And as a small rural county, unable to operate a full IT infrastructure to support such an EHR, your approval of this contract will assure behavioral health remains in compliance with no cost to the general fund. It is respectfully, do I read that? Oh, it is respectfully requested that your board approve the contract between Tuolumne County Behavioral Health and Kingsview Professional Services. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Yes.
So, thank you for your presentation. And I wanted to ask, I know that Kingsview is our contractor, and I understand that we need to get a more compliant system. So that's all fine and good. But since they're our contractor, are they sharing in the cost of this system? Or it sounds like it's all on us to pay for it. And I'd like a little bit more explanation as to why that is.
Well, our county seeking their service is where the cost is incurred for Tuolumne or for behavioral health local. What I am aware of as far as vendorship and the past systems that Kingsview has promoted as their primary service is at an expense to that company, which is driven between a contract between, in this case, Kingsview and the credible developers who I believe are located in Arizona. So there is a cost associated to their bringing the system into their professional services and then developing it so that it meets the California state standards. And then at that time, they vend out to the customers like Tuolumne County and the other 23 counties that are now enjoying their services. Does that answer your question?
No. If it did, I didn't get it, so sorry. Let me try to ask this another way. Did I hear that there is a cost to Kingsview?
Kingsview contracts with the developer.
With
I
Credible?
am not privy to know how much they pay or what their contractual agreement is.
Okay.
I have not known, honestly, Board of Supervisor, of any other entity that we would contract with that would incur the cost that is associated to the service that we are requesting to receive. Maybe I'm not understanding your question. I
Well,
apologize.
Kingsview is our provider, one of our providers, right?
No,
No.
Kingsview is a standalone professional services entity that is located in Fresno. They are not a provider of specialty mental health services.
Okay, I thought they were. So
No.
what does Kingsview do for us then? How is Kingsview involved in this?
So this contract is to provide these professional services that bring an electronic health record for our use. And more specifically, the services are the clearinghouse activities related to developing and submitting our Medi-Cal claims to the Department of Healthcare Services for the services that we render to the Medi-Cal beneficiaries of Tuolumne County.
So, in other words, Kingsview is the processor of these services?
That's one service that
through
is part of this
Credible?
contract, yes.
Through the system called Credible?
Correct. You may be thinking, Catherine, of another contract that is held with behavioral health where we utilize their nonprofit section for the delivery of telehealth services to enable behavioral health to provide psychiatric medication services.
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah.
Didn't realize there were two different
Yeah, so those are two
factions.
different entities.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Supervisor Brandon?
Great, and thank you for the presentation on this. I wanted to clarify just about the termination clause in the contract and how that looks for the length of it. Is there a time period of when we could end this contract early, and what would be the penalty?
I am not aware of a penalty related to early termination of the contract. I believe the termination language is no different than the standard language that the other contracts for the county hold.
Okay, do we have clarification from any other staff what that might be? I was unable
I don't
to
have the contract
access
with me.
the top document from that.
Let me see.
Yeah, Supervisor Brandon, this is Eric. Yes, the termination clause is for convenience upon 90 days calendar written notice upon either party.
And just to clarify,
Okay.
this is our standard contract template,
Right.
so it is, county council approved, drafted language by our county.
Okay, thank you. One thing we talked, I think, a bit about with some of the folks' behavioral health and other areas, excuse me, was the potential of trying to have an integrated case management system to potentially identify some areas where there may be particular residents utilizing services but not trying to, for example, get better, take them utilizing a lot of the resources that could go to other residents that need that help. And potentially having more collaboration between, a lot of cross-functional entities like law enforcement, behavioral health, social services, and even medical considerations to really treat each case individually and, as kind of the complicated, personal cases that they are. I wanted to ask if you know of any other examples. I know that Kingsview, from the report, is utilized by, it seems like, about half the counties in California, and we've had a relationship with them for a long time. I wanted to ask if you know of any other case management systems that are more integrated like that, with, privacy layers to be able to protect HIPAA, information, but may offer a new way of looking at the data that maybe Kingsview hasn't implemented.
Yes, actually, the reason for the switch of electronic health records for Tuolumne County, Kingsview, as well as a lot of other counties in the state is because most of the EHRs that were utilized in the last decade could not support the exchange of information, health information exchange, which is what you're asking
An
about.
EHR is electronic health record?
Electronic health record, yes. So
Okay.
Credible has the functionality to allow for health information exchange, allowing any medical entity to be able to access the database for continuity of care, for shared clients, and to perform their duties as it pertains to their entity. So we're moving to a system that actually is going to provide the technology that you are seeking, Supervisor Brendan.
That's great. And is there potential for any non-medical partnership? Again, one thing that I was thinking about when we were sending out a behavioral health clinician, for example, to do a crisis response, knowing if that person has, for example, a criminal history that may, be violent, or what preparation they need to do, or understanding if, that person has been frequently taking ambulance trips and, there are related medical issues. Can it be shared with entities such as Adventist Health, law enforcement, and groups like that outside of just internal county medical staff?
By the HIPAA, Health Information Portability and Accountability Act statutes, our information being treatment related could be shared with any other healthcare entity through the Health Information Exchange. Entities that are not of a treating or medical status would not fall under the exceptions that allows HIPAA, or that HIPAA allows entities to access information without explicit client permission. That does not negate our sharing of information with law enforcement nor with our DSS partners. Rather, we lean heavily on the exceptions allowed under the HIPAA privacy rule, as well as the California State Confidentiality Law 5328 that specifies exactly when and how and what amount of information we are allowed to share under certain circumstances in regards to specific individuals.
Okay, great. Thank you. And yeah, just wanted to ask some of the questions. I know since we didn't go out to RFP, I wanted to be clear on why we were selecting this and make sure there weren't other options that could increase the collaboration, but it seems like the software upgrade has that capacity. So thank you for answering all my questions with this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, no, just a couple of comments. In looking at this, right, when we're looking at electronic health records and compliance, with HIPAA, there's a lot of concern that we make sure we do this right, to provide the security, for the patients. And, some of the other things that are, discussed here, with the Credible would bring, in this would be the expanded data, dashboard.
Yes.
And looking at, what can they do with e-prescriptions, in particular to make sure those are secure. And, we had earlier things discussing, prescriptions, on the board agenda today. So, yeah, I really liked what I heard about the claims being less than 1.2% denial. That's pretty huge. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you very much for the explanation. I thought it was pretty clear. I guess I had a very peripheral role to some of this when I was in behavioral health, but by no means an expert, but I think that this is exactly the type of service that you would want to contract for, because it's highly technical and very specific to a particular part of the reporting system. And so by taking this off your plate and contracting with it, you're able to spend more time focusing on the critical services that behavioral health provides directly to our clients and to the citizens of our county. So if we can, basically it's for financial impact, it's fairly low or none whatsoever to the general fund, and we're able to free up some space within your own concerns to be able to focus on other things that are more direct care for our clients. So I think this is exactly the type of thing that we should be contracting out. Okay, so Or is there any public comment?
She's my favorite at behavioral health. So awesome job. And Supervisor Half, you're correct, because I've been to the Kingsview, I guess it's office. It's out there behind the now closed Chinese restaurant by Sears and in that shopping plaza there. But I never knew what they did because I'm just not nosy. But they take all my little soapbox topics and they claim to have no relationship with our behavioral health department, so they don't know what's going on. So they must just get I don't know. But I always make sure I take them plenty of swag and all that stuff. So maybe in the future we could have a little bit more of a collaborative relationship with that office. But if this electronic records thing will lead to more comprehensive care, that would be really good. Because we did have a very prominent member of our community who had trouble getting his medications and completed suicide. So that's a shameful way for someone to be cast off into the cold and not get what they needed. So hopefully this would prevent anything like that from happening again.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the public? Any hands raised on Zoom? All right, we'll bring it back to the board. And so what you are looking for is a motion to approve the contract, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the integrated multi-year support agreement between the County of Tuolumne Behavioral Health Department and Kingsview Professional Services for maintenance, support, migration, and hosting a federal mandated electronic health record system, including bringing on the new credible product, the legacy system Cerner, not to exceed $500,000 per fiscal year. Authorize the county administrator to sign.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you very much. We have a motion by Supervisor Goldenberg and a second by Supervisor Half. Will you please call the roll, Ms. Ryan?
Supervisor Goldenberg?
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk? Supervisor Half?
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon?
Aye.
All right. Your
Thank you very
contract is
much. I
approved,
appreciate your
5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break. Okay, welcome back to this meeting of the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors. Where we left, we were on item 14, so now we are on item 15. Ms. Ryan, would you please read item 15 for us?
Item number 15, consideration of approving the County of Tuolumne Educational Assistance Program policy and procedures and amendments to all memorandum of understanding.
All right, good afternoon, Mr.
Good
Chair,
afternoon.
members of the board. I am Jason Terry from your County Administrator's Office, joined here by Liz Peterson from the same. And what we have today is the Educational Assistance Policy Revamp for your review. I want to take a moment and just acknowledge the team that assisted in putting this together. It was a group effort. Our office asked for some volunteers and people that had been involved with the process or had some ideas to assist us as we revamped this policy, and we had several departments represented here, and I just want to take a quick moment to recognize Tracy Williams, James Riley, Christina Herrera, Kimberly Rowe, Rachel Jones, Crystal Anderson, Rebecca Edmonds, Diane Green, and Deborah Showman for all their assistance in developing this policy. There was some talk about doing a song and dance, but it looks like they got pulled away for something, so I think we're just going to have to put that on hold for now.
We already got the songs.
Yes, yes. Anyways, so this policy was last done in 2009, and there was some deficiencies with it that needed to be addressed. But the major changes within this policy, one is pulling it out of the MOUs and placing it as a standalone policy. This allows it to be applied equally to all employees. And in addition, at different MOUs had different reimbursement rates for the different degree programs, and really what it was turning into or staff felt that this was an inequitable approach to conducting this program. So that it was pulled into the policy and now is currently written that for an undergrad degree up to the IRS limit would be covered at 100% for a degree program, and postgraduate would be 50%. I do want to emphasize that this policy addresses education in formal education, like degrees and programs such as that. This is not addressing formal training with the county within your profession, you know, those mandatory trainings that we conduct. Some other points of clarity were to specifically designate the department cost center that the board allocates the funding to for this program, as well as writing down into the policy things that have been expected but were never written before. So ensuring that we're making the most of public dollars and having folks who want to partake in the program show their due diligence, provide the justification for the program, how it relates to their duties, and how it will really help their professional development and therefore help the county provide the services that it does. So with that, I think I've addressed everything there. I can field any questions from your board. I do want to make a quick note on the recommendation. On number 5 of the recommendation, this is actually amendment number 4 for the OE3 Memorandum of Understanding. So we can approach that when we get there. But did you have anything to add? Oh, yes, and I guess I should say that all meet and confer obligations, since this was in MOUs and dealing with the labor units, have been completed with the respective bargaining units.
Questions? Yeah, Supervisor Goldenberg.
Just thanks for, simplifying things a little bit more, right? Pulling it out of all of these individual MOUs, making it a policy that applies, throughout the county, system. Just a really good idea that, everybody just had the same benefits, and it makes it very easy to understand. So appreciate all the efforts of everybody that were involved in doing this. Thanks.
Supervisor Brandon.
I just wanted to reiterate Supervisor Goldenberg's statement too. Thank you to everybody that contributed to this, making it, I think, a more straightforward policy. One of our goals from the year was to make sure staff development, and I think included in that continuing educational opportunities, so you can be able to work for Tuolumne County better and help everybody and train collaboratively, cross-functionally. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So thank you for putting together this proposal and looking forward to voting for it.
I just have one clarifying question, because on page 3 it says undergraduate degree programs and other educational courses or the program shall be reimbursed 100% of eligible costs. So somebody who doesn't know, we're not saying we're going to pay for 100% of degrees or whatnot. It's whatever is allotted, correct? 100%.
Correct. It's based on that IRS rate. You can't go and get 3 degrees and, or what was that amount? It's specifically.
It's $5,250 per year, per calendar year, that employees can get reimbursed. So what that policy is saying is that employees getting seeking a undergraduate degree, or associates or undergraduate, could be, if their degree program costs $5,250 or less per year, then they could be reimbursed for the full cost per calendar year.
Right. Thank you for clarifying that. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
But that is linked to the Internal Revenue Code, and that's how we have it written in the policy.
I just didn't want somebody misinterpreting it, that we're paying for all the bachelors and masters. And
correct.
I know that, but I had a question, so thanks.
This is an incredible effort by your whole team. Congratulations to everybody who worked on this. I believe it makes our education opportunities more equitable. They have not been in the past. And it also feeds into a high performance organization goals where everybody can actually strive to be the best that they can be, and this is one of the ways that they can do that, to take the next best, better job within our organization. And so just thank you for the incredible work.
And the team did a great job. They gave us recommendations that obviously we hadn't even thought of upon first review, including the claim form needing to be revised and several aspects of the policy that were ultimately changed.
Yeah, and I agree with what Supervisor Half said. I think that this program hasn't always been equitable in the past, and that this is a really huge improvement in what really what I see this is accomplishing both goals that the public has asked us to work on, and goals for developing that our employees have asked for. Public wants us to be a more efficient organization so we can provide more services and provide those services at a better level. It's no secret to anybody that public agencies, counties, cities throughout the country are having difficulty retaining and attracting employees. And to me, this is a huge step in that direction. This is one of the things that our employees have asked for. They've told us that this is something that they would like to see. They'd like to learn and grow within our organization. And if we keep people in-house, keep them educated and being able to move on to the next thing within the county, then we have these long-term employees that really know their job well, and we're not having to continually spend money to replace people that move on to greener pastures somewhere outside of Tuolumne County. So this didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen easily. It took a lot of work from you folks, and really thank you for putting the time in. I think we came up with a good solution to this problem, and it's one of many efforts to help lessen our retention issues. So I will open up public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this? Anyone from Zoom? Okay, I see no hands. I'll bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the County of Tuolumne Educational Assistant Program Policy and Procedures and amendments to all the noted memorandum of understandings.
I'll second that.
Just as a note, that isn't including the change, I imagine, Amendment 4 for OE3. I'm sorry. Oh, healthcare unit. Well, I crossed out the wrong one. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
For the healthcare unit.
Yes, including healthcare unit. Thank you.
Okay,
And we had
so what he said. Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Goldenberg, second by Supervisor Half. Thank you very much. Ms. Ryan, would you please read the roll call?
Supervisor Goldenberg?
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell?
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk?
Aye.
Supervisor Half?
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
And good work. Okay, move on to item 16.
Item number 16, consideration of adopting Resolution 118-21, approving Amendment Number 7 to the 2017-2020 Tuolumne County Employees OE3 Memorandum of Understanding.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Board. Kim Phipps, I'm here representing Human Resources. And the first item I have before you today is consideration of adopting Resolution 118-21, Amendment Number 7 of the 2017-2020 Tuolumne County Employees OE3 Memorandum of Understanding. I do want to point out that this is a revised version of the memo, so I have fresh versions up at your podium and then also in the back of the room. So in this amendment, we have made some updates to the MOU, and that includes the following, which is the term of the MOU was extended to November 20th of 2022. All classifications in the OE3 unit will receive a 3% COLA effective November 21st, 2021. This also included a ratification incentive of $1,500 per permanent employee, and that will be prorated by FTE. And then any relief employees who are within classifications that fall under this unit will also receive a $500 incentive. The retention incentive pay has been modified and will now begin at 5 years and will cap at 25 years, and then the percentages will be aligned with that of the other bargaining units. There were 2 changes that were made to the cafeteria plan language. The first being that the family level was increased by $40 a month, and we have updated the language to change CalPERS Health to Prism Health. Holidays were amended to include Juneteenth. Employees in the unit, they also bargained to include a provision that allows them to convert 32 hours of sick leave to cash per year. They will also receive a vaccine incentive of 8 hours of leave per shot for those that fall under the CDPH vaccine mandates. We have added the process for becoming a dues-paying member. And then there are uniform allowance increases for those classifications that fall under the professional division, those in roads operations, and then for animal control officers. And then there is an increase in on-call pay from $2.75 per hour to $3 per hour. The estimated annual cost for this package is $726,750. The impact of the current fiscal year with the effective date of November 21st will be $416,484. The ratification incentive will apply to 271.2 FTEs with a cost which is approximately $406,800. And it is recommended that your board adopt the attached resolution and approve Amendment 7 to the 2017-2020 OE3 Memorandum of Understanding. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions? Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, bring it back to the board.
I'm sorry, I do have a question. It's for County Council regarding ARP funding, the bonus and longevity pay. Can those be taken out and voted on separately, or does it all have to be done?
It all has to be done together.
All right. Well, I didn't do a very good job last time. I don't think ARP funding should be used for bonuses. When you add that all up, it's around $1 million. And longevity pay, although I want staff to stay longer, I haven't been provided with the information to make an informed decision. I don't know what the baseline is. I don't know what other counties are doing. So I would have liked to have that information before making that decision. However, since I can't pull those two pieces out and vote on them separately, I'll vote on it as a whole, but I just want to make that clear. So thank you guys.
All right, thank you. If there's no other comments, I'll call for a motion if there's one.
I'll make a motion, but it,
Motion to approve.
okay. It sounded like we had to. You had something in the back that was.
I updated, so the memo you have in front of me is an updated version. There was missing information in the one that was posted.
So since Supervisor Brandon motioned, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Brandon, second by Supervisor Half. Please read the roll.
Supervisor Goldenberg.
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell.
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk.
Aye.
Supervisor Half.
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. And I think you're here for the next one too. So item 17.
Item number 17, consideration of adopting resolution 119-21, approving amendment number 4 to the 2017-2021 Tuolumne County Healthcare Unit Memorandum of Understanding.
All right, this will sound very
Welcome back.
similar. So this will be consideration of adopting Resolution 119-21, approving, and I need to make a note here, this is approving amendment number 5. The agenda and the actual amendment say 4. We'll be working with the bargaining units to get that corrected because, you know, we just had another item. We had them numbered the same. So approving amendment number 5 to the 2017-2021 Tuolumne County Healthcare Unit Memorandum of Understanding. And this one includes, same term, it will be extended to November 20th, 2022. The classifications will receive COLAs. There are 3 positions that were identified that will receive 8% COLA, and then the remainder will receive 3%. This bargaining unit was also offered the ratification incentive, so all permanent employees will receive a prorated amount of $1,500, and then any relief employees within these classifications will receive an amount of $500. Their retention incentive was also modified to now begin at 5 years and cap out at 25 years, and the percentages will be aligned with that of the other units. This unit will also now be eligible for certificate and degree pay, which will cap out at a max of 5%. They've also negotiated that employees who are called back to work after being released from active duty will receive 2 hours of straight time pay for each callback occurrence, and that's an increase of 30 minutes. There were 2 changes made to their cafeteria plan language. So there will be an increase of $25 per month for their 2-party, an increase of $65 a month for their family, and then we've also updated the language to change it from CalPERS Health to Prism Health. They will now receive a life insurance plan provided by the county up to an amount of $50,000. And then for their holidays, we're adding Juneteenth. They have also negotiated that an employee who is required to work on a fixed holiday will receive pay at time and a half, along with 8 hours of floating holiday time. The members of this unit who are subject to the CDPH vaccine mandate will also receive sick leave in an amount of 8 hours per shot. And we have added maintenance of membership, let me go back. They had agency shop language in their MOU, and so we have replaced that with the current process for becoming a dues paying member. The estimated annual cost for this package is $104,974. The impact to the current fiscal year with the effective date of November 21st will be $60,158. The ratification incentive for the 26 full-time equivalent will be approximately $39,000. And it is recommended that your board adopt the attached resolution and approve amendment number 5 to the 2017-2021 Tuolumne County Health Memorandum of Understanding. Also, if I can take a moment, being as I'm up here, I just wanted to express some appreciation for the employees that sat at the bargaining table. It's an important role that they hold. They're advocating for their employees, and our ability to reach an agreement obviously impacts morale and culture, and I just found them to be very reasonable, creative. They're just pleasant to work with. So for those employees who sat there at each of these units, I just wanted to say thank you. And now it's yours.
Thank you, and very much agreed with you. Questions?
For the records, can I pull out the ARP and the longevity, or does that have to be voted on separately?
It has to be voted on together. It's a one package.
And this maybe will be last time. Again, ARP monies is going to cost us around $1 million to give out $1,500 bonuses. I have constituents who I can't give bonuses to, so I just don't feel it's fair. And then longevity, although I do think there needs to be longevity pay, I don't have any information I feel like to make a true informed decision. I've requested some data, which I haven't been able to get. So, however, for the sake of this packet, I will move forward when we vote. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? All right, bring it back to the board for a motion.
I wanted to make a comment. Kim, thank you for your part that you played in all of this. We needed your help and you were there. So I just wanted to send appreciation from all of us to you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
I'll echo that. Thanks.
Okay, so the recommendation is to approve amendment number 5, correct? Not number 4.
Number 5.
Okay.
I'll move to approve. We accept resolution number 11921, amendment 5 to the 2017 to 2021 Tuolumne County Healthcare Unit Memorandum of Understanding.
I'll second.
Okay, well motioned and second. Would you please call for the vote?
Supervisor Goldenberg,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk,
Aye.
Supervisor Haff,
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so item 18.
Item number 18, presentation and update on Washington Fire.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. Dory Beats, Office of Emergency Services Coordinator. I have with me joined today your Assistant County Fire Chief, Andy Murphy, and also Sam Zabel from Tuolumne County GIS. I'm going to read you a few things and walk through what I also gave to you that we weren't able to upload last week on Tuesday because it was issued on Wednesday is a letter from the Insurance Commissioner, Laura, on the moratorium. I did put copies of that letter in the back, as well as a map of the zip codes that are affected as a part of that moratorium as a result of the Washington fire. We will make sure those are uploaded also with respect to this item. So as you all are aware, the Washington fire started on August 26 in the Sonora area. The fire consumed 136 acres and destroyed 19 structures. The County of Tuolumne, along with the City of Sonora, requested the Governor and the State of California proclaim a state of emergency and authorize financial assistance under the California Disaster Assistance Act or any other state funding and waive regulations that may hinder response and recovery efforts. Furthermore, your board requested assistance via the State of California to expedite access to federal resources and other appropriate federal disaster relief programs. On Friday, October 22nd, Governor Newsom proclaimed a state of emergency to exist in Tuolumne County due to the Washington fire. The proclamation enables Tuolumne County and the City of Sonora to access resources under the California Disaster Assistance Act to bolster our recovery efforts, supports impacted residents by waiving fees to replace documents such as driver's license and birth certificates, extends consumer protections, and streamlines and expedites the removal of ash and debris, among other provisions. As a result of your board's proclamation of a local emergency, the governor's proclamation comes with Phase 1 assistance. In Phase 1, the California Department of Toxic Substance Control, or DTSC, and its contractors inspected the property and will remove any household hazardous waste that may pose a threat to human health, animals, and the environment, such as batteries, asbestos siding, and paints. This phase is mandatory under local emergency declarations and occurred the week of November 1 through 3. Both county and city staff met with the DTSC representatives who explained the process and the steps that were to be taken. Clearing of the properties included household hazardous waste of lead, acid, household batteries, compressed gas cylinders, bulk pesticides, fertilizers, and pool chemicals, paints, thinners, aerosol cans, asbestos siding, pipe insulation and tiles, and CRTs from television, computers, and other electronic devices. The contaminated debris was cleaned up and contained as quickly as possible to minimize exposure to emergency personnel, the public, and workers involved in restoration efforts. County staff are now working with the state partners for the second phase, or Phase 2, which is for debris removal. In Phase 2, the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, or CalOES, and Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and local officials coordinate with the state's debris task force and its debris management teams to conduct fire-related debris removal from the property if the property owners have elected to participate in the program by completing and signing a right of entry form. County staff are currently drafting the ROE and associated urgency ordinance that will need to be completed and brought to your board for approval. We have that on for the December 7th agenda. A few other additional items. We have received a lot of questions and concerns about debris flow as a result. Many of the county staff, including city, along with Cal OES debris removal, had several meetings. Caltrans was involved, Public Works was involved. 136 acres really does not warrant a large enough area to collect water during rain events to cause substantial debris flow. And so understanding that, we did take a look at some areas that we thought were potential effects. GIS has a map up. There's a couple drainages that Caltrans was very aware of. A couple areas on the city of Sonora side that were required to place straw wattling. The rule of thumb is if a destroyed structure due to a wildfire is 250 feet from a waterway, then there is some provisions for a straw wattling that must be in place. So you'll see that in the yellow star, I do believe, correct? On the right-hand side of the fire. He's using the point in there. That is City of Sonora property, and they had already placed that in there, so. But we just want to make sure the public and the board knows that we did meet and confer and talk to those individuals, including our friends at the U.S. Forest Service and their soil scientists, and looking at the potential for debris flow. So we have created some maps that help us identify where those potential areas are. This is all privately owned property on the left side and the unincorporated part of Tuolumne County. There are some concerns of rocks that have fallen during the fire, and also a road that is given away a little bit. And Sam has some pictures. You can see it right there. They are non-county roads, but they are roads of access within that property area. So, did you have any other pictures? Oh, there we go. One of the drainages. So, great. Thank you, Sam. One of the other areas that I would like, in reference to the insurance commissioner's letter in this particular map, as stated, the insurance commissioner issued a moratorium on cancellations and non-renewals of policies of residential property insurance after the declaration of a state of emergency. And so they issued that on November 10th. It does include the several zip codes, as you can see, identified on our map in the, is that orange? Orange? Yes. And you can see where the Washington fire or the Washington incident is right there, kind of in the center. So all of those policies then, all of the zip codes then are listed in that moratorium. So we want to make sure the public is aware of that. We will post this on our website. As I said, we put some out here, and we will try to make this available also to the local media so they have this and we get the information out. I will say that when we were working on identifying property owners, interesting, Sam and Walt Cruz, who's our relief environmental health staff member working on this. There were several properties, I think 5, that transferred ownership the day before. Were just actually recorded on August 25th. And we just now have caught up to them, which is good because now we're sending out the right of entries to the correct property and legal property owners. But there were 5 different parcels that actually were re-recorded on October 25th, so that we were not aware of. So happy to answer any questions. There's no action needed, but we will be coming back to your board on the 7th with the urgency ordinance that is required in order for us to do the debris program for those property owners who want to take advantage of the state program.
Thank you very much,
Mm-hmm.
Supervisor.
So no questions, just a couple of comments. You know, the debris removal, that was a real plus, you know, getting the designation that ended up, potentially saving the county quite a bit of money because we were going to have to deal with some of these issues one way or another. And, Insurance Commissioner Lara, it's nice to see that, the fire was all contained in the 95370 zip code, but you see a pretty wide area here of benefit for the citizens of Tuolumne County that, it keeps them from, getting notices of cancellation or non-renewals for a year. So we're still working on those issues, separately in different ways. But, yeah, that's nice to see. Thanks for all the hard work.
Oh.
Just comment, thank you. I know a lot of the insurance brokers I'm talking to are pretty stressed out, so it was frustrating because talking to their office, it sounded like it wasn't going to be part of the declaration, and then it was. So I'm just glad to see that some of our residents will at least have a year to hopefully figure things out and more solutions be floated at the state level for insurance. So thank you, Dory.
I just have a real quick clarifying question on that, just so it's absolutely clear for anybody. If you received a notice of non-renewal after August 26th and you are in one of these zip codes, which is basically, zip codes, which basically the majority of our population, that you need to get in touch with that insurer and let them know that they cannot deny you insurance for a calendar year starting August 26th, or that was going to be my question is how, so if you received a letter on August 24th,
it is a year from the date, I do believe, the declaration from the governor, so I'll verify on that.
Okay, so that would be my question is, does it apply to everyone or just people who have received notice of non-renewal since August 26th?
Yeah, he declared on the 22nd of October, so I will double check with that.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think it says in there.
Supervisor Brandon?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Dory, for the presentation as well. I know we did a live stream a little bit ago, and I really appreciated it. I've got a lot of good feedback. Obviously, we had a lot of people whose lives were completely uprooted by that. And in line with Chairman Campbell's comments, too, I think members of the public, we do have an ombudsman that does contact us for insurance stuff. I think anybody who has had that cancellation should definitely be put in touch with the ombudsman to be able to hopefully correct that. And I appreciate, same with the meeting, looking out to basically any future disasters coming out of this for any landslide potential or risk to, health and safety. I did want to ask, I had received questions about people wanting to go back onto their property at this point to be able to, one, salvage anything that they could, or two, to simply, try and have a place again that they could be at. What is the recommendation currently for those folks?
The recommendation is because we still have a local state of emergency proclamation by the board due to environmental health is not to go back there until we can get through the debris removal. Part of the debris removal will include some soil testing as well to make sure there's not toxicity left as a result of the fire.
Okay. And there have been, to my understanding, a number of, residences or habitations up there that were not up to code or were not registered. Do we know what has happened with those populations of people where they've been maybe able to go or connect with service?
I do not know that. I know that there were many families that requested assistance from Red Cross that received that. But I do know that there are several family members who were living in unpermitted that have no place to go, correct?
Okay. And we're not sure what's happened with them yet?
No.
I know that's probably more of a question for HHS, but...
Yeah, and I can follow up for you on that as well, so...
That'd be great. I'm just concerned. I know that a lot of them, they didn't have insurance, didn't have what they needed to kind of recover, and that's really heartbreaking. Anyway, with my closing comment, I just wanted to give one shout out to Ron Hamilton and the organizers of the Washington Fire Relief Fundraiser. And I know I saw a lot, if not most of you all in attendance, and Dory as well. I think they raised several tens of thousands of dollars. And it's just a huge community effort. It was really inspiring to be there and to see that. So my thanks goes out to them on behalf of all the people in my district and that were impacted by this fire.
Great. And then Supervisor Campbell, it is 1 year from on October 22nd. So it is on the second page of the Insurance Commissioner's memo. And for anyone that has questions, they do give a consumer hotline, 1-800-927-4357.
So if you got your notice of non-renewal on October 21st, you're out of luck? Is that?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then the last question I had, and if you don't have an answer to this that's fine, but do you have any update on the cause of the fire?
I can let Assistant Chief Murphy answer that.
No update from the last release from CAL FIRE, and that it wasn't arson, but the final cause is still under investigation.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are there any public comments at this time? Okay. Bring it back to the board. Is information only correct?
Yep, correct.
Well, thank you very much for the information, and thank you very much for the hard work, and also glad to be able to actually complete the training that we had planned for
Yes.
that day.
Me too.
So we followed up.
Yes.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, item 19.
Item number 19, consideration of approving an agreement with Adams Ashby Group, Inc. for a community development block grant and housing consulting services.
Well, hello there.
Hey, good afternoon, board. Before you today is kind of a bittersweet matter to come for consideration. Before you for consideration is a awarding an agreement for our community development block grant, or what we call CDBG, and for housing consulting services. Back in 1982 was the first time Tuolumne County applied for and then received funding for community development block grants. And since that time, we've had an ongoing program and have expanded it over the years. So for example, in 1994, we did housing rehabilitation and community programs. In 82, in 1994, we did a small business revolving loan program. And then in 1999, we received our first home investment partnership program. And that was grant funds for first-time home buyers program. The program of both for CDBG and for housing is really divided between two county departments. The County Administrator's Office has direct oversight for the non-housing portion of the CDBG program, but the day-to-day administration of this program is done through a contract like this one before you for consideration. The CDD has direct oversight of the housing portion, and not only do they do housing and other programs besides CDBG, they also deal with home. So in the home program, it's entirely managed by the CDD staff. And as your board might remember, recently the housing specialist retired, and the program has now shifted to other members of the CDD department. Our current consulting services agreement is up this fall, later this fall. And in response to that, we also have our current provider who has been providing services for this, Terry Cox, retiring. And so with that, the county went out with an RFP for these services. We were seeking consulting services to help us administer and implement the CDBG program, and then also, as needed, assist CDD with any housing grant applications or any housing matters that come up on an on-call basis. So the scope of work in the RFP was administration, proposal writing, labor standards, and portfolio management. County staff did our usual due diligence in regards to procuring these services. It was sent out to 20 potential vendors. We posted it online on our website, and we also advertised in the paper. At the close of the RFP, we only heard from one provider, and that was Adams Ashby Group out of Sacramento. We asked people, we then ranked and rated the one proposal. The review team consisted of Quincy Yaley, CDD Director, Rachel Bell, who's here today with me, who is now in charge of the home program at CDD, Terry Cox, and myself. We found Adams Ashby to rank high. They were exemplary. They have a ton of experience in working with communities. They're very familiar with working with rural communities. They have a contract with, I believe, Calaveras County also in this. And we're also working with Adams Ashby Group on our NSP, the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, which is part of our CRC project. So very familiar with the work they do and very impressed. We also conducted an interview with the Adams Ashby Group just to get a better feel for who they are. I know them because of NSP, but CDD, it was their first time working with them. So it was nice to have an interview, go through the questions that we would have had for anybody else and really get to know them better and get a feel for their approach to doing business in our county, and how would they approach it, how would they work with our customers, and how would they work with county staff. After that interview, we were, again, impressed with the level of services and what they would be able to do for us. The only concern staff has is the only item that we were looking for in the RFP, as far as the scope of work that we currently have under our current CDBG provider, is economic development. Adams Ashby Group does not have those services in-house, and it would mean that as we proceed forward, if we wanted to get into economic development, so that would mean like restarting up our business revolving loan program, we would need to either, internal staff would need to do that work, or we would need to go out and solicit for a specific contractor to be able to do that. Staff doesn't see that as a problem right now. As your board is aware and has asked me several times, why don't we have a small business revolving loan program now? It's because the rules of engagement, the rules and requirements that HCD has put on that program, as a small rural county, we're not able to provide that program right now. I know that HCD has heard from a lot of rural communities that it's been successful in many areas, and we have advocated to bring that program back and change the rules. There's so many other items that they're working on right now. They understand that. This is not at the top of their list right now. So staff will continue to monitor it. We know we've heard from your board that that's something that I know you have been interested in the past. As far as the procurement, one of the things staff did is wanted to make sure that when we only have one proposal, that we really did it correctly, and that we really reached out to people. So of the 20 vendors that we specifically sent this out to, I called them and asked, why didn't you apply for this project? And the responses are synthesized down to really 3 main bullets, and they're outlined in your memo, but basically the reasons were that they were downsizing their business and not interested in taking on new clients. They didn't feel they could do a good job providing services to the residents of this county with their business so far away. Or there's a few that said, well, Tuolumne County has always had Cox Consulting, so we decided not to apply because you've always had the same consultant, even though it was explicitly mentioned in the RFP that our current contractor was retiring. So we did our due diligence in regards to that. In looking at this, we contacted HCD, the funding source for CDBG funding and home funding, and just wanted to we ran through our procedures with them, told them what we have done, and they're okay with this procedure and awarding this agreement to Adams Ashby. They feel that Tuolumne County has gone through the correct, proper steps in soliciting for these services. The fact is that most people that do the work, like Terry Cox, as far as consulting for CDBG, there's a bunch of them that are now retiring. And so it's really hard across the state of California to find entities or firms or an individual who wants to do this type of work. It's ever changing, as you know, when Terry and I come up and try to tell you what's next with CDBG. And a lot of people just said, we've had enough. There's not as many consultants as there used to be. Attached before you for your consideration today is a professional services agreement with Adams Ashby Group. The term of the agreement is for a 3-year period with the ability of 2 one-year extensions. The amount the consultant will be paid will vary. It will depend on what applications we go after and then receive. And so listed in the agreement is, of course, rates that will apply for any work this consultant does on our behalf in regards to either on-call services for the home program or for direct services for CDBG. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by County Council, and at this time, staff recommends approval of a CDBG and Housing Consulting Services Agreement to Adams Ashby Group and authorize the county administrator to sign, and is further recommended to authorize the county administrator to sign any amendments to this agreement. And just one more note, we've had tremendous success in our CDBG program. It's outstanding. I wanted to do a recognition for Terry Cox at this meeting, but she, that's not her forte. She doesn't like those things. We have come to an agreement, so she has to come before your board one last time in January to do a public hearing closeout. And at that time, staff will be bringing forth an item for your board to consider to recognize all that Terry Cox has done for this community. So I just want to let you know that. And again, Rachel Bell from CDD is here if you had any housing portion questions. And that's it.
Anybody want to start?
Sure, I'll start. Thanks, Mo.
You're welcome.
You know, these types of agreements are, as you just stated, we've had very good success, you know, in the past with the CDBG, you know, funding coming to the county in a number of different ways. So, and when we receive, you know, those grants, we apply for them. We need professionals to help us do that. It's been successful in the past. And when we get them for whatever projects they are, then, you know, we need some help in managing them, you know, properly. So the success, you know, stories in the past really speak for themselves. And hopefully, you know, the Adams Ashby Group will be as proficient in, you know, bringing in results, you know, as we saw with Cox. And, you know, that'd be great. So thanks for all the efforts.
You're quite welcome. And one thing to note for your board, the money that's paid out for this contract comes from CDBG. It's not general fund dollars, just to make that clear.
All right.
No questions, just thank you. I know whenever we only get one response back, it always makes me like hesitant, but you guys are the professionals. You did your due diligence. It looks like you contacted them. All the experts interviewed them and did your follow-up, and there's past history there. So thank you guys for doing this, and whenever we're ready, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, Supervisor Brandon.
Right. Hi, Mo. Thank you for the work on this and the presentation. I'm sure it's going to be very hard to replace Terry and all the work that she's done for the county. And so I'll throw it all out there. It's very hard with this delay, so I'm doing the best that I can. I I wanted to ask, you mentioned some of the areas that Adams Ashby does not focus on in particular that we'd have to use internal staff for. What areas do they kind of focus on? Do we have examples of kind of where their specialty may lie?
Oh my gosh. Yes, we do. The proposal was quite comprehensive. And in their proposal, CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, anything related to that in regards to housing, rehab, infrastructure. They've done a lot of planning grants. They've done transportation grants. In the home side of things, they've done all various different types of homes, grant applications that are from single family to first-time home buyers to multifamilies to working with developers. And that's one thing I know, sorry, Rachel, I'm excited about, because there might be some opportunities for us, as we were talking this morning with some of the presenters earlier about workforce housing and those type of activities. It would be neat to, Adams Ashby has a great deal of experience and has worked with several developers, and there might be some opportunities there in the future. So those are just a few examples, Supervisor.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Mo. And would you see any value? You mentioned, I really like the synopsis of the other RFP responses and why they didn't put one in. Yeah. The first two doesn't seem like there's any opportunity to change their mind. But for the third, if it's based on them not maybe completely understanding we're looking for somebody, do you think there's any value in trying to re-release the RFP process to try and, encourage them again?
I think what I did do in regards to that is I did reach out to those that when I talked to them, or they sent me back an email in regards to it, I made sure to follow up with them and saying, I hope you apply in the future. This is only a 3-year agreement, and please note that we will continue to maintain you on a list, and I hope you do something in the future. If we were to open up, my opinion only, then that's not fair to Adams Ashby Group. If we had it, they did everything that we asked them to in the RFP. They have an exemplary track record in doing this type of services, or providing these types of services to not only medium-sized county, but to also to rural and small counties. And I think from what I've seen of Adams Ashby in regards to the NSP services they provide us, they're just incredibly awesome. Lori Adams, one of the principals, was going to be here today, but not knowing when this item was going to be heard, it was really hard for her to schedule something. She was also in front of the CalIF's Board of Supervisors today, so that was a little bit tricky. But I know, is she on?
Mo, I am here virtually.
Oh, there you go. So, Lori, do you want to just say a few words to the board about Adams Ashby?
Sure. I believe that, I'm impressed that you remembered our qualifications as well as you did, Mo. We do have extensive background in most of the HCD funding sources, as well as USDA and some of the other federal and state programs that are directly related to infrastructure and housing. We've been working in this field as Adams Ashby Group for over 12 years. I personally have been in the field for over 30 years. And started as a city clerk. So I have an extensive background on how to support your agency and your department staff as well. And I've been lucky enough to work with the county over the years in and out of your housing program. And I'm excited to be working with you again in NSP, and believe that our relationship will continue to build on what foundation that Terry has worked with your agency, and continue moving forward with those projects that you have already on your board. So I'm appreciative of the favorable selection, and look forward to continuing that relationship.
Thank you, Lori. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you. Other questions? Supervisor Half?
Hello? Oh, I apologize. My internet's a little bit unstable right now. Lori, thank you so much for attending and presenting on this too. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot, and for the answers. Just, I guess, one final question, and as unfortunately they sometimes are, I think this one's not a very clear question, but we'll muddle through it. I'm just wondering kind of what the number of clients that Adams Ashby serves, and if we're kind of getting the benefit of the full firm, or if we have any type of a scaling amount. And I guess the question to Mo is, to my understanding, as a non-entitlement county, I'm sure there's different limitations for us. It says 30 to 50,000 in the proposal, but we had paid Cox Consulting 150,000 in one of the years. How does that compensation work? Is there an option to scale that up? I'm looking at this as a great investment, and it seems that what we put into it, we've gotten back about 100 times over, over the lifespan of this, if not more. Anyway, if that's clear enough to be able to answer.
Right. So Lori, let me start this and then add to it if there's anything that I missed, because there's a lot of different components in your question. Tuolumne County has been extremely aggressive in regards to CDBG. And over the years, the 25 plus years I've been in the county, I think there was only 2 times that we did not get or were successful in a grant application that we submitted. And we lost both of those. One of them we lost by a point, and the other one, which is just recently, the grant was oversubscribed, and so we're on a waiting list once funding becomes available, then that one will be funded. What we have explained to Adams Ashby Group is we want to continue that we have been successful with CDBG, and we want to look aggressively as possible in making sure that we reach out and apply for as many grants as possible and look at collaborative opportunities. And whether that's on the CDBG side or on the home side, we want to both Rachel and I want to take these programs to maybe new and different places and see what we can do. Our limitations, Supervisor, are just what the HCD throws at us as far as when we can apply, how often we can apply, the amount of money that they're going to allocate in future grant applications. And so that would be kind of our limitations. You also asked about the funding that comes directly to the county off of CDBG. The amount of money to help defer some of the costs that county staff puts into this really depends from year to year. Just so you saw as the consultants, depending on how much time I'm needed on the project. So that's why I gave you a range. Some years I spend a lot of time because we have a lot of applications going and a lot of activity in those applications, and I'm assisting the consultant a great deal more. And sometimes, some years, there's not a lot of activity going on just because for CDBG right now, we can apply every other year. So you're going to see some cycling of the money. It's not a consistent amount of reimbursement for the CAO's office for this. So I hope that kind of helps some of your questions.
Yeah, it does. And I guess the follow-up question to that is, if we're pursuing these aggressively already, are we with this contract basically getting the maximum amount we can with those limitations? Or if this was increased with any CDBG funding, are we able to get more of Adams Ashby time? I wonder if we're split between a number of clients. I know that I think Terry focused a lot on Tuolumne County. I don't really know the scope and size of Adams Ashby.
Yeah. So one thing so 2 questions and then Heather, is Lori still here with us? Okay. So one of the things you need to know is Terry had several clients. She carried several counties along with a few cities, and was always to balance all of her clients and all of our customers in those various areas in the needs that they have. Adams Ashby does the same thing. So when I did reference checks, on them. There was never any concern from any of their clients that I contacted that had a concern or didn't feel that they were getting adequate service levels from the Adams-Ashby group. Our point of contact for our contract should tell you something. It's Lori. Lori's going to be our go-to person for both Rachel and I. She is committed to that. And her activity level is going to, again, depend on what we're asking her and her firm to apply for, and then how successful are we with getting those grant funds for those activities. Lori, do you want to add anything? Oh, she's still.
Sure. I would just also state that we have 6 staff that we work with to support the projects and programs that are operated under the grants that we are working on for the communities. We do have a book of clients, and we do work with them and balance those out between my partner and I. We are the contact for all of our clients, and we maintain that in order to ensure that you have the highest level of service and the highest level of knowledge that is participating within your program and tracking that. But then we do have support staff that does work with us in the administration and implementation and reporting processes of the grant awards that you do receive. We really focus on working with the counties and the other agencies in a prioritization process when we are looking for grants to make sure that every grant that you bring in is a valuable grant. Grants can suck resources. We want to make sure that that it's the highest value to you and not taking away important portions of your staff in the implementation process. So we try to sit down and focus on a priority list that then we work to fund. And that way we know that your priorities are being tasked first with our resources and your staff's resources. But we can flex up and down within your department. One of the values of bringing someone like our team in is that if you do have a staff change or somebody out for an extended period of time, we have the ability to flex up our services to you to fill that gap or to provide training where needed in order to ensure that you have an on-the-ground cohesive group with us as that support and filling in where needed, so that you are implementing your programs and using your staff at the highest level as well.
Great. Well, Lori, Mo, that answers all my questions. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I really do appreciate you attending the meeting as well. It seems like this is an excellent investment that's really paid off for Tuolumne County in the past. And we worked with Terry and Cox Consulting for a long time, and I hope we'll end up working with Adams-Ashby for a very long time as well. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Supervisor Half would like to speak.
Yeah, 3 things. First of all, Mo, to you, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you doing your due diligence regarding, just receiving the one application and going the extra mile to do the investigation to find out why. Well, that doesn't always happen, and I just really want you to know that I appreciate that. Second of all, maybe a suggestion, we don't have the economic development component, and maybe we can look to our neighbors and do something regionally that might be more appealing to everyone. Just a suggestion. And then as far as January, when Terry Cox comes, I'm glad you arm wrestled her to agree. And what I would like to see is how many millions of dollars she has brought into Tuolumne County, if there's any way of figuring that over the many years that she's done this fabulous work for us, if we can celebrate that with her in January.
Supervisor, I have that information for you. Well, it is amazing. It is actually an appendice to your board memo because there's that many projects over the years that it is amazing. She has been here's a spoiler. She's been a voice of those that don't have a voice in our county.
That's right.
And it's so important. She works with the nonprofits and the community and really talks to them and works with them throughout the year. So when a grant does come out, she knows what the needs are in the county and really does her homework.
So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have Quincy.
So I think we have Quincy and she'd like to speak. Are you with us, Quincy?
Yeah, hey everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there today. I just wanted to follow up with Supervisor Brandon's question and just assure you that in our experience, the consultants are able to move much faster than staff are able to move. They're usually waiting for us to respond. And I certainly know that Lori will continue that tradition. So it's usually the staff who are trying to keep up with the consultants. I just wanted to add that to reassure you that that this will be a great addition to our team, and we're really looking forward to working with her.
Great. Thank you, Quincy.
Great, thank you. Is there any public comment? All right. Any comments? Okay. All right. Bring it back to the board for a motion on the contract.
I'll make the motion to approve the agreement with Adams Ashby Group Incorporated for Community Development Block Grant and Housing Consulting Services.
All right. And I'll second. So we have a motion by Supervisor Goldenberg, second by Supervisor Campbell. Will you please read the roll?
Supervisor Goldenberg,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk,
Aye.
Supervisor Haff,
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome to the team.
Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Look forward to talking to you. So we have one last item here. Okay, you want to take a break? Okay, so let's take a tight 5-minute break, reconvene at 3:48. And where we left, we were on item 22. Ms. Ryan, would you please read that item for us?
Item number 22, designation of the 2022 California State Association CSAC Board of Directors delegate and alternate.
Okay, let me pull this up. All right, so I believe the reason why I am presenting this is because usually, although we haven't voted on it, I am the vice chair and potentially I'll be the chair next year. And so we'll have discussion shortly about committees and commissions, but because we have the CSAC annual conference coming up at the end of this month, at the end of that conference on Thursday, December 2nd, the representative for our county who's going to be appointed to CSAC needs to be in attendance to that meeting. So we have to have somebody appointed today for that meeting. So it's a little premature for the grand scheme of things as far as committees and commission goes, but that's why we're discussing this today. So with that said, I think, do I make my recommendation now, or do we want to open it up to board comment or public comment?
Oh, yeah, we can do public comment if there's
Let's do
no
public
other
comment real quick, if anybody wants to say anything. No, I don't know. Well, okay, well then, thank you, Carol. So so here's what I want to do. I was under the impression that usually chairs are the CSAC representatives, but did some investigation, some communicating. That's not necessarily the case at all. What I want to honor, and again, I can't talk about other committees and commissions because this is specifically CSAC, so I'll keep it to CSAC. But Supervisor Campbell already has standing relationships that he's formed, partnerships that he's formed, being the current chair at CSAC, and he does have interest in doing it for another year. And I kind of want to honor that. I think relationships take time to build, and they're valuable. And so, again, we'll talk about other committees and commissions later. But so with that being said, I wanted to appoint Ryan Campbell as the chair for CSAC. And then my alternate was going to be Supervisor Goldenberg. Part of the reason behind that, other than some of we have 3 members of the board that are newer. But if I do the math right and I look at who might be the chair and stuff down the road, I think it'd be good for Goldenberg to be the alternate to start getting more involved, as he may eventually, as time goes on, be the chair of this board, but also CSAC. So my recommendation is Ryan Campbell, the chair to CSAC, and David Goldenberg as the alternate. So we'll open it up for board discussion and then open it up to public comment.
I have nothing to add except that I would gladly serve another year and I think you stated it pretty well. If that's the will of the board.
Sure.
And I would just echo, and I appreciate the opportunity to become more involved. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Supervisor Brennan?
Yeah, my comments, I just wanted to, because I was a little surprised to see this on the agenda, as I thought we were doing most of the BCC appointments later. And thank you, Supervisor Kirk, for kind of explaining the meeting that this needs to be done in advance for it. But hadn't sent comments in on any, I think, thoughts about this as well. Certainly in attending RCRC and the CSAC conferences, really made some good connections there. And I agree that those relationships are very important for that as well. Only to say that I think the alternate position was something that I would be interested in looking at. I wish we had kind of had a discussion about this ahead of time or comparing all of it. It's unfortunate it's kind of just brought up right now. That's all.
Yeah, and I would just say that, you know, these things come up every single year, and it's a marathon, and so I think I know that in the short time that I've been on the board, I've had the opportunity to do almost every committee at some point, and so I think that'll probably be the case with all of us. We will all at some point get a turn. It may not be, it may be later rather than sooner, but I'm pretty confident that we're all interested in making sure that every board member has an opportunity to get experience in a variety of areas, including with CSAC, RCRC, and some of these other groups.
Do you want to say anything?
I think they're good suggestions. Thank you.
All right, is there any public comment?
Since I'm the only one here, now I can make a knowledgeable comment. So I appreciate your continuing with Ryan Campbell, because I do think it's important to have some consistency. And for those of you who are new, I believe the rotation kind of rotates by district. So Mr. Goldenberg would normally, I believe, be the next one. I'm not sure, or would it be Kathleen?
Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
Does it go in that order?
Yeah.
Okay, but because I know when Randy didn't do it,
Yeah,
then it kind of threw the order.
it threw it
out
off,
of
and right now we're back
But
on
you're,
track.
but Kathleen's with RCRC, which is important, and you don't want to do both.
Yeah.
So you're making really good inroads there. So I am perfectly okay with this. Thank you.
And just kind of on that, Carol, the idea too is to spread the workload, because those, not just CSAC, but RCRC and NACO, it's important that not one supervisor's got their hands in too much, because to do it effectively is going to be a lot of work. So,
Yeah, and I can absolutely agree with that. I think, speaking from experience, it's important not to take on too much when you're chair.
Yes.
Don't ask me how I know that. And yeah, if you can delegate, it's not a bad idea to try and take advantage of it. Okay, so would you like to make a motion to that effect?
So yeah, and just so if the public's watching, the reason why I'm presenting is because I am supposedly deemed to be the chair next year. So had this, like Supervisor Brandon said, had all of these board and committees be in discussion, if they were in discussion, that's going to take place in January. So I'm kind of assuming that I'm going to be the chair, which is why I'm presenting the item before us. So
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how you do over the next
we'll see what happens.
4 weeks or so.
So I made a motion. Yes, my motion is to reappoint Supervisor Campbell to CSAC and the alternate of Supervisor Goldenberg.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Supervisor Kirk, second by Supervisor Half. I'll call for the vote. Ms. Ryan, would you please read the roll?
Supervisor Goldenberg,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Kirk,
Aye.
Supervisor Ha,
Aye.
Supervisor Brandon.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. All right, so the last thing on our agenda is reports. So I'll look to our Assistant County Administrator. Would you like to deliver any reports today?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Carrillo, County Council.
Just a couple of comments. As your board knows, the courthouse opened, and that will have some impact on our office. So I just wanted to sort of give everyone a heads up that there will be times where maybe there's not anyone in the office because staff is doing court runs or in court. And obviously to drive over there takes longer. We had that happen today. So I just don't want anyone to be surprised if that's happening. And then the other exciting news, and I will share more on Monday, is we did find someone to fill the executive legal assistant position. She starts on Monday. We're super excited about her, and I'll make sure that she gets to meet everyone next week or whenever you're around. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Who would like to start with reports? Should I pick on you, Supervisor Brandon, or who would like to start?
Whatever you'd like.
Yep, Supervisor Brandon, go ahead.
So I've been dealing with a little bout of flu. I did take a COVID test and was negative and don't have COVID symptoms, but I've been dealing with that for about the last 4 or 5 days, or 4 days or so. But did have a really great walkthrough in Jamestown and Columbia with some representatives from the new Lumberjack Hotel in Sonora, or Hotel Lumberjack rather. And it was a great opportunity to be able to showcase a lot of the local offerings so that they can share them with guests, provide some social media content. As you know, hospitality spends a lot of money on advertising, bringing people up to this area. So it was a great opportunity to just go touch in, and I think they were extremely surprised. Almost 100% of everybody they walked into the shop was just so excited that somebody wanted to take a photo and see what they do and thought it was cool. So they were very, very receptive and very friendly to it. In addition to that, having a number of discussions from TICO and the Commission on Homelessness for our ad hoc committee for outdoor shelter, and then a few different meetings with staff as well. And we have another cleanup happening on Rawhide this Thursday morning at 8:30. I attended for about three hours or so, a cleanup with one pile at a time, and filed some compliance requests in Jamestown area. And I want to encourage everybody, if you see something, say something. It does really help when you're able to call the department or contact us to let us know anything from garbage accumulating to unsafe conditions to drainage not working along a road. It is much better for us to find out from you ahead of time, send a photo, than wait for something really bad to happen and have to deal with it after the fact. And so that's extremely helpful. Other than that, wish me a speedy recovery.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say, is hoping you're feeling well and get some much needed rest since you've been very busy over the past couple of weeks. Supervisor Goldenberg, you want to follow?
Sure, thank you. Don't really have too much to report. Normal committee meetings, natural resources. We're talking about biomass and where we might be going with some of those areas. Both Supervisor Campbell and I sit on solid waste. We're still working on the new contract, probably going to be coming after the first of the year at this point. But I think things are going well. And we did talk about enforcement, and we looked at trash. We did, as Supervisor Brandon was concerned about, we discussed cameras, somewhat. We didn't come to any firm decisions. Still looking into, some areas a bit. Caltrans gave a nice report, while we're there, talking about opportunities, that they have in their new Clean California. I forget the actual title for it. But yeah, thank you. We had a finance committee meeting, some, upcoming things, there is the Groveland ambulance contract discussions is coming up, and, we had pretty in-depth conversation about that, looking at the best way to go there. More on that to come soon. Other than that, met with Eric Aiken, discussed Parks and Rec stuff, talked about some of the library issues a bit. Good meeting. Also went to ADCA, the food bank in Jamestown. Spent, about 2 hours here with Joe Tobin and, went all through their program. I was really impressed with what they have accomplished and, especially in getting, reefer trucks and all this, heavy duty shelving. I mean, it's just really well laid out. At some point, we'll probably as a board have to look at, because that is a county owned facility, we'll have to look at some things. Their pavement's getting pretty bad. And so we need to look at that, but that's down the road. Other than that, continue to, go to the city of Sonora council meetings, so the first one of the month for sure. And that's pretty much all I got for right now. Thanks.
Okay, Supervisor Kirk.
I was just going to touch about natural resources, but Supervisor Goldenberg did. So no, just regular committees and commissions. If I have something valuable to report to you guys, I will.
Okay, Supervisor Half.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on Groveland issues the last couple of weeks. I went to a special GCSD meeting there on Community Facilities District with a lot of community participation. And the next day went to a Tuolumne County Association of Realtors meeting, also with GCSD, with the general manager and myself regarding the same topic. And then didn't participate, but attended by Zoom the LAFCO meeting, which dealt more with GCSD things. And then in conjunction with the Health and Human Services staff, they helped provide me with FAQs so I could write an article for the Yosemite Express on the upcoming June ballot measure regarding the Groveland ambulance. It'll be up again to vote on for the people over there in Groveland. And then the regular meetings, TCTC, Board of Supervisors, Transportation Committee, and so forth. I did want to give just a very brief update on the passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that happened last week. And this is specifically for California. So I thought this might be of interest to all of us. And just a few bullet points here. California is set to receive $25.3 billion for federal aid highway programs and $4.2 billion for bridge replacement. This doesn't have anything to do with local roads, but it's an investment in California. Also, the electric vehicle charging, long distance travel, there's going to be an investment for California of $384 million over 5 years. So we can expect to see, some of that, hopefully, in our area. And then, let's see. For broadband, California is set to receive a minimum allocation of $100 million to help provide broadband coverage across the state. And this is on top of what we've already decided, our legislature has decided for California. This is federal money that will be coming in for broadband as well. And then in addition to that, under the broadband banner, it will be providing access to at least 500,000 Californians who currently lack it. And then there are about, a little over 10 million people in California, or 20%, it says 27% of California, will be eligible for the Affordability Connectivity Benefit, which will help low-income families afford internet, which is fabulous. Then for wildfires, there's going to be $84 million over 5 years to protect against wildfires in California. And another, I thought this was interesting, $40 million to protect against cyber attacks in California. So that's really cool. And then lastly, for airports, and I don't know if our little FAA approved airport or our Groveland Airport will receive any of this money, but there is $1.5 billion slated for California for infrastructure development for airports over the next 5 years. So all things to look forward to and see where maybe we can partake in some of that funding. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, because that's something I've been kind of looking into as well. And so you picked up on things that I didn't observe. So I'm going to have to go back and read. I didn't know about the airport element, so I made a note. Okay. So very busy. And actually, one thing that you forgot to mention, because I don't think we did our reports last week, is the Capitol Christmas tree. So thanks very much to Supervisor Half, and I'm also going to thank Carol Dowd for helping to get the word out about that. It was a very good event, and it actually felt like Tuolumne County again. Everybody was happy and having a good time and in the spirit of Christmas.
And thanks to Heather also for her help in getting the advertising done. Mm-hmm. And social media as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna go home and look where the truck is by now. I don't think it's back there yet, right? Okay. Yeah, it was going through the south the last time I checked. Okay, so for my part, I think a lot of it has been mentioned. Supervisor Goldenberg did go over kind of where the dump cameras and some of the enforcement was left. I think we had a really good conversation with the district attorney and the sheriff, as well as some other community members. And one thing I did also want to add is we added 2 new community members to the Solid Waste Committee, who will hopefully be able to do some of the outreach and help us kind of expand the scope of that committee. So you'll be getting a recommendation from that committee coming to this board here in the near future about that. Also, as mentioned, the Finance Committee, we talked about the Groveland ambulance. I think we picked sort of a middle of a route to recommend, and I think it's good for that community. I did attend the LAFCO meeting in Groveland. I learned a lot about where GCSD stands and the communities. We got a lot of community engagement on that, so it was a very valuable meeting. I also wanted to highlight Public Works. They're doing a number of striping projects in our county, really making our roads look a lot better. Some of them still need work, but if you can't see the edge of the road, it creates a real severe hazard. And I've just noticed in my district in particular, I've seen the roads have been nice and bright, and the lines are clear and easy to see and very reflective at night. So a lot of work's going on there, so thank you to Public Works. I did want to touch on the Caltrans element. So we're looking into whether, I don't know whether or not Public Works would enter a maintenance agreement with Caltrans, or if it would be something like extending and expanding the current maintenance agreement that we have through the Sheriff's Office for inmate pickup of trash. We actually don't do a lot of that with our inmate crews. And so it would be something where if we could leverage a maintenance agreement with Caltrans, expand that program. That's kind of at the stage we're right now looking at, is what makes sense in that regard, because as you said, there is a lot of money coming into the state and by extension Caltrans for infrastructure projects. And one element I really want to let everyone know about is the Adopt the Highway program. We all have heard it. We've all seen the signs, Adopt a Highway, and it's kind of fallen out of favor in the past decade or so. They've revamped the entire model. So now you don't pay to get your name on a sign to adopt the highway. You don't contribute money. Caltrans will pay you $250 a month to help pick up trash, help maintain stretches of highway, and you get your name on the Adopt a Highway sign. So they've completely retooled that whole Adopt a Highway program to attract more engagement from community groups that would be willing to do that kind of thing. And they'll pay you to do it. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but for some of these groups, it would make the difference.